And there are components of that road we will go through in this last segment. And to kick us off, I have the honor to have on stage with me His Excellency Cheikh Tidiane Dièye, Minister of Hydraulics and Sanitation of Senegal, our host here in Senegal and co-host together with the UAE of the 2026 UN Water Conference. Cheikh, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Merci beaucoup, Hanks. Bonjour à tous et à toutes. Good afternoon. Assalamu alaikum. Nous arrivons à la fin de ces 2 jours de réunion à Dakar et c'est avec un grand plaisir et un grand honneur que je prends la parole à cette session pour tout d'abord vous remercier, tous et toutes, pour votre présence ici, mais en particulier remercier et féliciter les co-présidents des dialogues interactifs, mais aussi tous les autres participants qui, pendant ces 2 jours, ont mené des discussions ouvertes et très inclusives. Nous avons réussi au terme d'un processus avec le pays ami et frère des Émirats arabes unis, co-organisateur avec le Sénégal, à opérer un choix des co-présidents avec des arguments, avec des critères qui nous ont permis de choisir des pays qui ont montré les meilleures capacités, les meilleures dispositions à porter ce processus avec le leadership nécessaire, avec la technicité nécessaire, mais également avec toute l'ambition et l'engagement. Pendant ces jours, hier et aujourd'hui, toutes les discussions qui ont été menées nous ont permis de déboucher ensemble sur une sorte d'ambition collective pour que la conférence des Nations Unies sur l'eau de 2026 soit une conférence portée par l'ensemble des parties prenantes, les États, les institutions internationales, la société civile dans ses composantes les plus larges, le secteur privé et toutes celles et ceux qui ont un mot à dire, qui ont un message à donner, qui ont une ambition à exprimer dans le domaine de l'eau, ce domaine qui nous préoccupe tous. Nous avons pu, depuis hier, formuler des propositions. Les discussions qui ont été menées dans les dialogues interactifs ont été fortes, transparentes et inspirantes. Et c'est autour de tout ça que nous allons bâtir ce moment important. De Dakar à Abu Dhabi, nous allons faire en sorte que l'ensemble des rencontres qui se tiendront sur le chemin soient utilisées comme levier pour pouvoir renforcer davantage la dynamique et produire les bonnes idées qui nous permettront d'arriver à la conférence de 2026 pour en faire une conférence qui impactera le secteur de l'eau dans le monde. Nous voulons faire en sorte que nous débouchions, après les engagements de haut niveau qui ont été pris par l'ensemble des parties prenantes, que nous débouchions sur des actions concrètes avec des progrès qui seront mesurables sur l'ensemble des 6 dialogues interactifs. Lorsqu'on parle de l'eau pour la population, il faudra que ça ait un impact sur les populations et ça doit être vu et mesurable. Lorsqu'on parle de l'eau pour la prospérité, il faudra qu'on comprenne qu'après 2026, cela doit aussi être mesurable à travers des impacts concrets dans les processus de création des richesses des nations. Parce que nous sommes tous d'accord pour dire que pour créer de la valeur et de la richesse pour les nations, il faut que l'eau soit au centre de la production et des modalités de consommation. L'eau pour la planète, nous devons aussi être d'accord pour structurer un nouveau narratif, pour que l'eau qui influence le climat et le climat qui influence l'eau, tout cela doit être dans un message très fort avec également des engagements. Nous avons parlé de la coopération. Nous savons également que là-dessus, l'eau doit être un vecteur de paix, de prospérité, de synergie. Nous savons que l'eau doit être un pilier pour reconsolider les processus au niveau international dans tous les forats multilatéraux. Et enfin, pour pouvoir le faire, il nous faut des investissements adaptés et des investissements structurants. Tout dans ce message doit être un message co-construit. Nous voulons que cette ambition collective que nous portons avec les Émirats arabes unis, mais également avec l'ensemble des présidents des dialogues interactifs, que cette communauté soit refondée, reforgée et renforcée pour porter ce processus. Donc, vers la fin de cette session, en l'ouvrant, je voudrais, au nom de nos co-organisateurs, les Émirats arabes unis, au nom de l'ensemble des coprésidents, encore une fois vous remercier. On y viendra vers la fin pour le message de clôture. Mais d'ores et déjà, je voudrais vous exprimer toute ma satisfaction pour la profondeur des dialogues, pour les discussions fortes et inclusives, avec déjà les bons résultats que nous avons réussi à obtenir. Encore une fois, merci et très bonne session de clôture à vous. Merci.
Thank you, Minister. And this final part will consist of 4 segments. But before we start with the first, I'd like to give you a message from a dear colleague and friend from Tajikistan, my brother Sultan Rahimzoda, who was my partner towards 2023, and he wanted to message to you that he is with you in this process towards December, and that you can count on him, and of course, the Republic of Tajikistan, who will be later in this program. But a personal message from him. He, of course, wishes to have been here, but he's in a different role. But in his heart, he will never let this go. So the 4 segments, and actually you can applaud for Sultan, because his amazing work he did. Thank you. 4 segments. We first will hear from the co-chairs of the interactive dialogues. Then we will hear from all the relevant stakeholder groups that were part of the conversations in these days and leading towards these days. And then we will hear more of the stepping stone moments across this year and the opportunity they bring for the 2026 UN Water Conference in December in Abu Dhabi. Then we'll have a cultural break for some excitement, a little dance to get you energized, before we go to the closing segment, where the leadership of the UN and the leadership of the 2 co-hosts will address you and send you on your way. Of course, there will be celebrations, but of course send you on your way to work, because we have to work hard. And for this first segment, for the interactive dialogues, I'd like to invite on stage Ms. Shaima Gagash, Director of Energy and Sustainability, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the United Arab Emirates, and Dr. Mohamed Diatta, Senegal Sherpa for the 2026 UN Water Conference. A big hand of applause for both of them and all the work that their teams are doing.
Start with French. Mesdames. Yes. Non, je disais à Madame Shaima qu'on démarre par le français pour vous remercier, pour vous dire qu'avec Madame Shaima, nous allons commodérer ce panel et je lui donne la parole. Vous avez la parole.
Thank you, Dr. Diatta. So we're starting today's session with really starting with our colleagues and co-chairs, listening in, getting in some insights on and reporting back on the interactions and discussions that took place over the course of the last 2 days or day and a half. I wanted to first introduce the first half of the panelists. There are 6 interactive dialogues. And for the first Water for People, I'd like to introduce to the stage Her Excellency Gisela Tete Agbotui, Deputy Minister of Water Resources from Ghana. Please, Your Excellency. I'd also like to welcome His Excellency Ambassador Christian Frutiger, Ambassador from the Swiss Agency for Development and Cooperation. Please, welcome. Water for Prosperity, China and Spain. So I'd like to welcome Ms. Zhu Xing, Deputy Director General of the Department of International Cooperation, Science and Technology of the Ministry of Water Resources in China. His Excellency Hugo Moran Fernandez, Secretary of State for the Environment, Ministry for Ecological Transition and Demographic Challenge. Please. Water for Planet. We would like to welcome Mr. Kojima Masaru, the Assistant Vice Minister, Minister of Land, Infrastructure, Transport and Tourism. Welcome. His Excellency Professor Hani Suelem, Minister of Water Resources and Irrigation of Egypt. Your Excellency. If we can have a representative from Spain. Where? Is over there? Okay. Oh, sorry, I haven't seen. Thank you. I'll give the floor now to Diata, please.
Thank you, Sheima. Je voulais appeler l'ingénieur Romas Kamanga, secrétaire permanent au ministère de l'eau et de l'assainissement de la Zambie, à nous rejoindre. J'appelle Madame Anouka Liponen, experte spécialiste en gestion intégrée des ressources en eau auprès du ministère de l'Agriculture et des Forêts de la Finlande. J'appelle Monsieur Karsten Trager, vice-ministre fédéral auprès de l'environnement, de l'action climatique, de la nature, de la conservation de la nature et de la sécurité nucléaire de l'Allemagne à nous rejoindre. Il sera représenté par Madame Myriam, directeur auprès du ministère de l'Environnement. Et Madame Myriam porte 2 casquettes. En même temps, elle va représenter son contrepart mexicain absent, mais elle porte la casquette. Et enfin, nous allons appeler son Excellence Madame Pemi Majorina, ministre de l'hydraulique, de l'assainissement et de l'eau de l'Afrique du Sud. Enfin, nous allons appeler Madame Éléonore Carriot, ministre déléguée auprès du ministère des Affaires étrangères, représentée par Madame Barbara Pompili, envoyée spéciale du président Emmanuel Macron. Sans plus tarder, nous allons démarrer cette session plénière, Mesdames, Messieurs. Après ces 2 jours intenses de travaux, d'échanges, mais également d'écoute, nous allons essayer de voir quels ont été les résultats de vos travaux et quelles sont les perspectives qui se dégagent dans ce cadre-là. Sans plus tarder, je vais donner la parole à ma collègue de démarrer à poser les questions en ce qui concerne le dialogue interactif Water for People, l'eau pour la prospérité et l'eau pour la planète. Madame Gargash, vous avez la parole.
Merci, Diata. We'd like to open the session with a couple of questions, and I just wanted to clarify before we end the segment is that once this round is over, we'd just like to take a family photo of the co-chairs along with the co-hosts. The first question really goes to what are your key takeaways from these discussions around your interactive dialogues? What priority topics, emerging actions, and areas of focus have you heard over the past 2 days? Now, I'll just kind of give the floor from the closest, Your Excellency, from Ghana, all the way to Your Excellency Barbara Pompili. So if you can just give us your insights and takeaways, key takeaways from the dialogues and sessions that you were co-chairing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. It's been an honor for Ghana to be paired with Switzerland. And we are saying to Water for People. The current status of the SDG 6 attainment. The first point. According to the latest data provided by UNICEF and WHO, the goal of achieving SDG 6 has shifted from being simply off track to now being described as unattainable. This sobering assessment highlights the urgency of addressing the barriers that hinder progress towards universal access to water and sanitation. The second takeaway is the importance of political will and local governance. A fundamental lesson from the dialogue is that political will, from national leadership down to local government, is essential. While strategic direction, policy choices, and resource allocation are often set at the highest levels, the actual realization of water security heavily depends on the local government level. It is at the local level where high-level policies must be effectively translated into tangible actions that benefit communities, with a particular focus on the vulnerable, women and children. The third takeaway is that, in that spirit also, people affected by humanitarian crisis must not be left behind. In protracted crisis and armed conflicts, water and sanitation systems are often damaged or deliberately targeted. Respect for international humanitarian law, the protection of civilian water infrastructure, and better links between humanitarian response and longer-term service delivery are essential to save lives, protect public health, and reduce long-term harm. The fourth key takeaway is that innovative approaches to water management financing. Confronting the complexities of water management and supply in the modern era requires moving beyond outdated financial models. Traditional methods no longer suffice in addressing the scale and intricacy of current water challenges. It is imperative to actively promote the involvement of private capital and private efficiency and other innovative forms of funding, while at the same time nurturing strong public engagement. By harnessing both private investment and community participation, sustainable solutions for water security can be developed and maintained. The fifth takeaway is building climate resilient infrastructure. Provision of infrastructure that is resilient to climate impacts is essential and non-negotiable. At the heart of our strategies and actions must be the goal of strengthening resilience. Resources should be targeted towards the areas of greatest need in order to protect populations and support sustainable development. Key takeaway number 7, the value of reliable data and water information systems. Reliable and credible water information systems are indispensable for science-based effective decision-making. Investing in these systems empowers both leaders and communities to anticipate and respond effectively to water-related challenges, make efficient use of resources, and monitor progress towards shared objectives. Key takeaway number 8, integrating human rights into financial mechanisms. It is crucial to fully incorporate the human rights to water. Mind you, we are dealing with people. And sanitation within all financial mechanisms, including subsidies and incentives. This ensures that underserved populations are not neglected, thereby promoting equity and upholding human dignity. Every policy and funding decision should be anchored in the recognition that access to water and sanitation is an inalienable human right for all. And last but not the least, the outlook and plans towards UAE UN Water Conference in December. Looking ahead to the end of 2026, our priority as co-chairs is clear. Together, Ghana and Switzerland intend to listen in a spirit of partnership. We will engage widely through inclusive and practical consultations to shape an agenda that is realistic, focused, and capable of delivering concrete outcomes. Our ambition is not dialogue for its own sake, but results, joint initiatives, policy inputs, and partnerships that improve access to water and sanitation for people in development contexts, fragile settings, and times of crisis alike. In the coming days, we will unveil our plans to deepen and expand this conversation as we progress towards the UAE and the conference. Remember, this is for Amina, the trader in Nigeria. This is for Kojo, the schoolboy in Ghana. This is for Mustafa, the engineer in Indonesia. This is for Natasha, the student in Russia. This is for Christian, the business executive in Norway. We've got this. Let's do it. Thank you very much.
We'd like to hear from the other leads on the dialogues, please.
Thank you, Ms. Chaima.
Thank you.
So it's my great pleasure to report with Monica on behalf of China and Spain, where the co-chairs of ID2 Water for Prosperity. So first of all, as a team, we would like to congratulate to the co-hosts for the successful discussion during these 2 days. Our ID kickoff discussion is very efficient, productive, and successful, thanks to the co-hosts, the informal preparatory working group, and also the member states, the international organizations, civil societies, enterprises who have given us very thought-provoking distributions. So there are some takeaways we also like to share with the audience. So first of all, the theme of our ID is Water for Prosperity. And this ID builds on the ID2, Water for Sustainable Development of 2023 UN Water Conference. As you can see, this is a big leap forward because we are moving from visions of growth and development to visions of resilience and prosperity. Prosperity is an aspirational pursuit, implying high-quality life, dynamic innovation, broad opportunities, and people's optimism and confidence in the future. So water is the lifeblood of prosperity. It supports not only the basic aspects of life, but also serves as the engine for economy, foundation for society, and core to ecology. So a prosperous society is one that should be capable of managing water sustainably, distributing it equitably, and utilizing it intelligently. So next I would like to give the floor to Monica to share with you the key points that the panelists and the interventions from the floor.
Thanks so much, Jean. It's been really a pleasure to work together. We are actually just one team. There were so many exciting ideas, so we decided now that what we are going to do is just to highlight some of the key words that we have here a lot. The first one, multilateralism, support to have really a clear collaboration. Now we are in a very challenging moment. We all know we need to show the world that we know how to do it and that we can do it together. Because the challenge is global, the response has to be global. And in this conference, we hope to contribute to strengthen global water governance, to have to put water up in the international agenda. So this is point one. Multilateralism, and you know Spain is really committed with this political support to this multilateralism, and also I think that we all need to have this ambition and common support. Second one, and this is also that we have to share with the financing. We have talked a lot about it. We also talked about it in a few months ago in Sevilla on financing for development. So we don't need to re-elaborate everything. We can learn from it, mobilizing private sector, innovative financial instrument, but very important, investment for the people, especially for the ones who are more vulnerable. We are here for these people especially. And of course, all the issues that we have to work on, this risking and so on, so that I'm sure that our colleagues from ID will act. Third word, integration. Integration and integration. I think it's the word that we have used more. We all know that integrated water resource management is essential to enabling equitable allocation among the traditional sectors. We all know very well, energy, tourists, but there are also new ones, like for example, new data, how we are going to handle it. We need to break silos, but really, we need to think out of the box. We need to promote dialogue. For example, water and energy. Water, we are thirsty of energy, but energy is thirsty of water. We have to stop breaking silos. Next word, I will say, or we will say better, circular economy approaches and water management should be advanced. There are many things that we have done. And also related with climate change resilience and risk reduction should take into account. We have done a lot. For example, we have last month underlined this Madrid Compact on water and security and resilience. More than 30 countries are there. More than 31 international organizations are there. But we need to scale up. Also, we need to scale up many good things that we have done, and in the discussion it's having taken out is, for example, with water efficiency, innovation, we need to scale up. We need to value water, value, another key word. And finally, this resume, action, collective action. We have done a lot, we have talked a lot, and this is very good. Now we need to implement, ensuring that no one is left behind. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Monica. So, as you know, this is just the beginning of this discussion. There is a long process to go through. So, China and Spain, as the co-chair of ID2, will work with the co-hosts, the UNDESA and the informal preparatory working group to through consultation, we will organize regular consultations and we would welcome inputs from all stakeholders. And we have also made a consensus that we need to reach out to other sectors, climate change, biodiversity, desertification, energy, to name a few. We need to broaden our minds, think outside of the box, and together push water high on the political agenda. And so there are some other actions.
Just 1 minute more. Then, what is the next step? Very clear. We need to have an open, inclusive, transparent, and participatory process. This is key issue. On Sunday, we have a very fruitful discussion with stakeholders. We need to get everybody involved. For that, we have already, it's a pity, but we have, this is the consensus draft roadmap together, China and Spain, with the main meetings that we would like to continue following, of course, with the support of UNDESA and informal preparatory group, to be sure that all contributions are taken into account. Also, we want to share with other co-presidents to see how we could introduce new forms or modalities to be more interactive, for example, but we have to discuss all, of course, it's kind of online surveys, workshop, trying to get everybody involved. And of course, we want to work with UNDESA and Informal Preparatory Working Group to see all the Dakar contribution are taken into account in the concept note and so on.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks. So we stop here. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you. So just to save time, since we started the session a little bit late, I'd really appreciate it if we can have one speaker per interactive dialogue, as we still have to give chance to the other speakers. Please, Water for Planet.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate and thank again UAE and Senegal for the great organization of this very important event, but I also thank all the participants in the IDC dialogue. We will be two, but we will be very short. So we thank all the stakeholders, UN agencies, the member states, of course, for participating in this dialogue. So water is lifeblood of the planet. The key issues for water for the planet: climate, biodiversity, desertification, environment from source to sea, resilience, and DRR are all crucial for human survival and the maintenance of society, and they are deeply interconnected. Important messages emerged from the IDC dialogue, which also need coordination and coherence with other dialogues. Number one, water issues must be addressed holistically across social, economic, and environmental systems. Integrated, inclusive, and cross-sectorial approaches are essential. Effective facilitators are needed to bridge science, policy, and decision-making. It is crucial to consider normal water conditions and extreme events in an integrated manner. Too much water, floods, and too little water, droughts, shape vulnerabilities across all countries. Example, glaciers melt, desertification, and climate disruptions pose existential risk for societies. Number two, human activities have severely degraded global freshwater systems. Water has long been exploited without regard for planetary limits. Water for people and water for the planet must be managed as complementary, not competing goals. Protecting water-related ecosystem is foundational. Societal resilience depends on water system resilience. The current focus on sanitation is crucial but insufficient on its own. Environmental degradation has cascading social impacts. Poor water management has damaged ecosystems, which increasingly affects all sectors. Migration due to ecosystem collapse and rehabilitation-driven return migration, nature positive, water positive investments must be scaled up. Water's value must be internalized in financial and policy decisions. Robust bankable pipelines for nature-based solutions and water-positive initiatives are needed. 3, strengthening global water governance is urgent. Regional cooperation is essential for resilience. UN Water could evolve beyond the coordination to fulfill a system-wide mandate to deliver comprehensively and systematically. Water must be further embedded in climate processes. Water should be central across Rio conventions and global climate negotiations. The 2026 conference must move beyond the past discussions to ensure scaled-up solutions, and I hand over to my colleague.
Thank you. Thank you.
In the UN 2026 Water Conference and its preparatory process, it is important that the key issues for water for the planet are discussed in balanced manner based on these understandings, so that they will lead to deepened discussions and accelerated actions through mutual collaboration by all stakeholders at the levels in IDC. It is a must to reflect opinion of the youth, gender, and other major groups, and consider vulnerable people for poverty actions. SDG 6 will not be achieved by continuing business as usual. Within water sectors, the achievement will become possible just by foreign collaboration, not only within the water box, but between water and those out of water box, as they will create innovation, enabling synergy, and new participants. Enthusiasm, actions, and reasons injected from outside of the water sector into water can reverse in the increased pace of acceleration we need to achieve the targets. In the preparatory process, co-chair to strengthen collaboration among various water relation selection sector and their stakeholders, including interagency cooperation. Based on outcomes of the 2023 Water Conference, co-chairs will leverage opportunities such as the Champagne process and high-level political forum, UNCCD, UNCBD, UN Summit Week, and COP31 to organize increase and action-oriented sessions and workshops, thereby encouraging creating the appreciation on the new action. Kyle Water Week will be a critical opportunity to combine discussion and identify key action for the UN 2026 conference. This is the summary of IDC. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Water for Cooperation, what were your insights or takeaways?
Thank you very much. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. I'm pleased to share the key ambitions emerging from our dialogue on water for cooperation, which was held yesterday. Our session established a clear consensus. Water cooperation is merely a technical choice. It's not merely a technical choice, sorry. It is a political and institutional necessity for peace, climate resilience, and global stability. We addressed a sobering reality in terms of the challenge of the gap, namely only 1/3 of the transboundary river basin currently have cooperation agreements, with even fewer for shared aquifers. To close this gap before the 2026 UN Water Congress, our participants more or less identified 4 strategic pillars for action. 1, strengthening legal and institutional frameworks. We must move from reactive crisis management to proactive, rules-based cooperation. This requires accelerating accession to the UN Water Convention and empowering river basin organizations. These organizations are artisans of peace and need stable, predictable financing to move beyond short-term project cycles towards durable governance. 2, innovation as a bridge for trust. Data should be a global public good. We highlighted the potential of artificial intelligence to reduce costs and increase accessibility to hydrological models. By launching initiatives like the Water Academic Hub, we can better integrate science into political processes. 3, radical inclusivity in leadership. Cooperation is only sustainable when it's inclusive. We must move indigenous peoples, youth, and women from the sidelines of consultation into roles of co-leadership and joint decision-making. Their local and traditional knowledge is a robust science that must inform our formal models. 4, integration across policies. Finally, we must break silos by adopting a water in all policies approach. This means linking water management directly to energy, food security, and biodiversity at both the river and watercourse-wide levels. As we build the roadmap from Senegal to UAE, our collective ambition is to transform water from a potential conflict risk into a powerful lever for regional prosperity. I hand over to my co-chair.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Kamala. Just to complement briefly on the vision. The 2026 Water Conference must focus on implementing commitments and ensuring that our efforts translate into tangible improvements on the ground. We as co-chairs with Zambia, we are ambitious, but what can be achieved, it depends on our collective efforts. We need political will and decisive action in international water cooperation, and also sustained momentum after the conference, ensuring that the results are adequately followed up and that they make a lasting impact. We aim for a widely inclusive preparatory process, engaging all stakeholders. Relevant UN processes and events should be effectively utilized, as well as well-established events, including the interactive dialogue, these different aspects, e.g. scientific cooperation. The conference provides a crucial opportunity to promote the global UN water conventions, their principles and application. It enables us to showcase the benefits of cooperation and encourage new countries to accede to them. New accessions to the global water conventions could be celebrated with possibly a treaty event, a statement of accessions and intentions, or other. Progress in cooperation could be given prominence, for example, conclusion of signing new agreements on shared waters or updating existing ones. And the 1992 Water Convention can facilitate as a global peer learning platform. Enhancing good inclusive governance is among the objectives of the whole conference, not only Interactive Dialogue D. With the conflict prevention and resolution potential of international water cooperation, it seems appropriate to highlight the links between SDG 6 and SDG 16. Inclusive governance means also fostering cooperation across sectors, embracing the water, food, energy ecosystems nexus. Private sector is part of the solution, including water stewardship, which extends impact through value change, and for this there are frameworks. We call on governments and diverse organizations, including financiers and civil society, to support efforts to catalyze and to inspire and upscale actions. More exchange of good practice is needed. Thank you.
Thank you. We just wanted to, as co-hosts, re-emphasize that the emphasis on communication, alignment, coordination is a key thing. We definitely want to avoid silos, not just within the sectors, within the interactive dialogues, but within the whole process. So I'll give the floor now to our dear friend, Dr. Miriam, please.
Thank you very much. It is my pleasure to report back from today's interactive dialogue on water and multilateral processes on behalf of both Germany and Mexico. I must say, I was overwhelmed by today's dialogue. We really did not expect such a huge, engaged audience, and I would like to thank you all for that, because many of you were present there today. And let me start by stressing that this was really just the kickoff, just a snapshot of the many voices, and we could not hear all of them today. We will definitely do our best to enable broad exchange in the next month together between Germany and Mexico. So what are our main takeaways as of now? Well, first, there seemed to be general agreement that we need to discuss how we can improve joint work on the global level to overcome the water crisis, or as some have come to say, the water bankruptcy situation we are facing. Second, it was also highlighted that we need to talk with each other, but not just talk, but also think outside the box. We need to talk beyond the water community. We need to talk to other sectors and learn from their experiences. Third, it became clear that all interactive dialogues need to be working closely together. And I think the opening meeting yesterday evening was an excellent starting point, and we would like to build up on that. And this is particularly true for Interactive Dialogue 5. It is about multilateralism in work, so to say. And we are really committed to facilitate this cross-dialogue perspective. And finally, it was also apparent that there are already many ideas out there, building also on the experiences of the 23 conference and thereafter. And as co-chairs, both Germany and Mexico understand our role as facilitating the dialogue around them and provide forums for discussion. On a personal level, I am looking very positively at the year ahead of us after today's discussion. We have seen very active and lively contributions and engagement from a wide variety of actors and stakeholders, state and non-state. And it is our goal to keep this level of engagement going throughout the coming month. Throughout this year, from Dushanbe to New York and to Stockholm, with all respective water fora in mind before we meet in Abu Dhabi, we will use every opportunity to propose formats that allow you to join the discussions on Dialogue 5. We will also propose virtual formats such as webinars to ensure that no one is left out and no voice remains unheard. Just like we did this morning when setting up an ad hoc email option for all those voices that could not be heard in the auditorium today. We are really looking forward to working with our partner, Mexico, the co-hosts, as well with the informal preparatory working group and the stakeholder group formed on ID5 towards a successful Interactive Dialogue 5 in December 2026. So please, in the name of Germany and Mexico, work with us. Invest your time, resources, and expertise. Raise your voices in this process to deliver results. Let's think together about how to make it matter, even without a negotiated agreement, to quote the Honorable Minister Balala from our wonderful conference co-host, United Arab Emirates. Let us be game changers. I cannot repeat that often enough. Those were yesterday's words of the Honorable Minister Sheikh Yahya from our other conference co-host Senegal, addressed to all the co-chairs of all IDs. To that purpose, let us see, tell, and do water differently in multilateral processes across different sectors, different actors, and different layers of government. Muchas gracias.
Thank you. We should definitely work together, and this is definitely the intention that we hope for, working collaboratively. I'll give the floor now to our last kind of interactive dialogue in this round, water investments for water. Your Excellency.
Thank you very much. Let me appreciate that I'm not hosting with the head. We're both here. Yesterday and today's interaction in this hall had one word, which was a buzzword. Invest, invest, invest in water, funding in water. That buzzword must then get expression. We have to align political action. When we hosted 2025 G20 presidency, we have built a clear foundation, declaration that was adopted on consensus by all G20 leaders, gave us power to move towards UN Water Conference 2026. We had to find our way that water be put at the center by our G20 leaders, and indeed, they've done exactly that. This theme 6, it cuts across all other themes. They can be planned outside funding. And want to appreciate the commitment and the resilience that was shown here by bankers and the private financiers, because government alone cannot be able to pull this giant called water. Minister of UAE, as well as Minister of Senegal, our host, it is indeed we have taken from the starting line, we are getting towards the finishing line, and surely we are going to finish with you. You're not going to run this race alone. We'll be there as member states to support you throughout up until we deliver. All of us, we have to own up the final declaration of the U20 Water Conference, but we must even go beyond 2026. Water security should be cross-cutting in various sectors, and the fiscal framework should be at least be centered around water as both economic and social enabler. Institutional alignment for private sector investment, where bankability and affordability are not the only driving factors for the rural communities. Bankable rural water investment program should be developed beyond the normal urban mode of funding, because when you invest in rural people, you are investing in people. There is a tendency where focus is always on the urban, as if there in the rural areas, people don't need water. Water is needed across the globe. Tracking of commitment and investment is key beyond 2026. Time to talk is over. What we have now is to put action and implement and act on that action. Financial viability and bankability integration, we must ensure that we de-risk the project by involving the private sector, because government must also assure the private sector that they are not investing in vain. So as they invest, government must be able even to relax some of the stringent policies that makes it difficult for the private sector to invest in government-led projects. Investment of the balance sheet is very much important. The use of Green Climate Fund to change and advance funding for underprivileged communities is a must to do. Reform the underperforming water utilities by ensuring that as we move towards 2026 UN Water Conference, we move along with all water entities, all those who call themselves very progressive, who calls themselves, they want to assist the poor. The poor is the entire sector, the water sector, and therefore we need more of interaction. Let's work together. We are looking forward with my partner in France. Remember, we are rivals when it comes to rugby. And I always beat France in rugby as South Africa, but now we are going to go together and we'll reach negotiations even when we play rugby. Thank you.
Qu'est-ce que je peux ajouter à ça? Qu'est-ce que je peux ajouter à ça? Je pense que ce dialogue interactif avec l'Afrique du Sud va être extrêmement intéressant. Très heureuse, je parle en français pour terminer, très heureuse de partager ce dialogue interactif sur un sujet qui clairement est le sujet transversal, puisque pour pouvoir adresser toutes les thématiques dont nous avons parlé, il va falloir trouver des fonds, il va falloir pouvoir investir. Et pour pouvoir investir, il va falloir sortir de l'investissement uniquement par des fonds publics, même s'ils resteront absolument fondamentaux pour pouvoir garantir un accès à tous à l'eau. Mais comme l'a si bien dit ma partenaire et comme l'ont si bien dit d'autres intervenants, l'eau est partout, il n'y a pas d'activité sèche et donc on va avoir besoin d'eau pour mettre en place toutes les autres politiques de développement. Et donc on a besoin, pour attirer les investisseurs, de créer un climat de confiance pour dérisquer les investissements. Pour créer ce climat de confiance, il va falloir travailler à des plans cohérents élaborés par les pays en lien avec tous les partenaires pour pouvoir montrer qu'on a évalué notre besoin en eau pour remplir toutes les politiques, pour mettre en place toutes les politiques qu'on veut mettre en place, qu'on a anticipé quels pouvaient être aussi les problèmes dus au changement climatique par exemple, et comment tout cela on l'a intégré dans un plan cohérent. Et les actions qui découleront de ce plan seront des actions que nous pourrons ensuite décliner et évaluer. Je crois que si on réussit à créer un outil qui permet de mettre autour des pays un board de partenaires qui les aide à élaborer ce plan, à travers des initiatives qui existent déjà. La Banque mondiale a mis en place ce genre d'initiatives, par exemple les pactes nationaux sur l'eau ou des plateformes pays plus généralement. Je crois que si on réussit à mettre en place le canevas qui permettra de mettre ça concrètement en œuvre, eh bien on pourra dire que cette conférence sur l'eau des Nations Unies de 2026 aura été vraiment utile pour l'accès à tous à l'eau et à l'assainissement, parce que n'oublions pas que c'est la base, mais aussi pour que toutes les politiques publiques intègrent cette question de l'eau au niveau national, mais aussi à tous les niveaux et notamment au niveau local. Merci beaucoup et au travail tout le monde.
Pour terminer cette séquence avec les co-chairs, Madame Pompili, puisque vous avez le micro, je voulais voir avec vous, en termes de prochaines étapes pour la France, comment la France et l'Afrique du Sud, comment vous entendez vous engager et mettre à disposition de la communauté internationale quels instruments vous comptez mettre et mécanismes vous comptez mettre à contribution pour une meilleure participation et contribution de la communauté internationale.
Eh bien, nous avons commencé à nous réunir avec l'Afrique du Sud pour commencer à élaborer cette feuille de route. On va continuer parce qu'on a été nommé depuis une semaine, donc le travail est en cours. Mais clairement, ce qui est prioritaire pour nous, et ma collègue pourra le confirmer, ce qui est prioritaire, c'est de pouvoir réunir tous les stakeholders. On a vraiment besoin de pouvoir parler avec non seulement les financeurs, mais aussi les associations, mais aussi les autorités locales, mais aussi, par exemple, les populations autochtones ou les jeunes ou les femmes, pour pouvoir vraiment mettre en place cet écosystème. Et ensuite, évidemment, ce que nous voulons, c'est avoir des réunions régulières. On va travailler au timing, et puis aussi travailler avec les autres co-chairs des dialogues interactifs pour vraiment essayer de créer des outils qui puissent être répliqués ou en tout cas travailler tous ensemble.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you.
I think I must be allowed to stay longer here. South Africa has already proven itself in terms of prioritizing investment. We've already engaged with the financial bankers. On the 15th and 16th of August 2025, we hosted the first of its nature, the African Union Water Investment Summit. We went out to all the relevant stakeholders and partners. Hence, we managed to mobilize between 10 and 12 billion annually that is going to be invested in water. So having laid that foundation, it will be easier to consolidate and be able to implement on what we have already started. But now what we're going to do with a front bonjour, merci beaucoup.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we'll move forward and we'll be holding hands in ensuring that we don't let the water sector down. Trust us. We are not going to let you down. We're going to move with speed. We don't drive on the middle lane. We'll be driving on the first lane and we'll be putting hazards. There's no time. Fasten your seatbelt. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Her Excellency Pemi Majorina, thank you for your reaction. Now, we ask for panelists to give a brief summary of next step. Germany.
Thank you. Well, I mentioned already a couple of points on the way forward. I think it's important that we do not duplicate existing processes, but we make use of those gatherings, events, structures, systems that are already in place. And of course, our continued effort is to streamline water into other policy sectors. So we should also be aware of other major events coming up in relation to biodiversity, in relation to climate, and so on and so forth, and make sure that water is at the central stage, also in other sectors. We will be meeting up with Mexico soon, so we are in exchange already. As was said before, there was not much time beforehand. So our work starts really as of tomorrow, when we're all back in our capitals. And there's going to be an intense road ahead of us, and we count on all actors, state and non-state actors. We really want inclusivity to be a two-way street, so not just state parties that allow other stakeholders to the table, but really give them a floor and have that as a continuous process.
Thank you. Filian, Zambia.
I think the next step was we've agreed with our colleagues from Finland is going to have an online meeting to come up with a roadmap, but also there are a number of events that are going to take place. Maybe I must mention that Zambia will be taking over the presidency of the ZAMCOM, which is the Zambezi River Commission, in April. So we plan to use, to take that to our advantage to promote the conference in UAE end of the year. Thank you.
Thank you. Egypt, Japan.
Well, maybe just to add a few things. Actually, I was alluding to a number of actions, but definitely a number of organizations interested in cooperating in this theme have already contacted either of us co-chairs, and will be discussing what concretely could be set as target and could come out as the process and as the conference. And we'll work on the roadmap and also the possible.
Thank you. Egypt and Japan.
Well, thank you very much. The dialogue will continue definitely after today. I mean, we are still building on the results of the UN Water Conference in 2023 and the results of these 2 days. We are going to continue. All the channels for communication are open, virtual, in writing. We are willing to receive any contribution or any intervention from member states, from stakeholders, from UN agencies or any other organizations. So my colleagues from Japan have presented the list of events that could form possibilities. I'm sure half of you already, they have this list, and I think if we are going to contribute in all of them, then we have to resign from our jobs. But they are there. We will do our best to contribute in as many as possible of these events. Cairo Water Week on the 25th of October. It's going to be an important milestone for preparation for the December event, and welcoming any intervention. Thank you.
Thank you. Spain and China.
Yes, thank you. So first thing I would like to mention is that yesterday the co-hosts organized a meeting together with our co-chairs, the 12 co-chairs, and we have already agreed that we will have a regular meeting among us. So the purpose is to reduce duplication, overlapping, and create synergy among 6 IDs. And secondly, for our ID, we have already shared the slides with the audience. Yes, these are the important water events or water-related events that will be held in China, in Spain, and the rest of the world. So, because in these 2 days we have received expressions from member states, organizations to join the discussion, to participate, to offer their wisdom to this ID too. And on our way to Abu Dhabi, you are also welcome to join us during this process of discussion. And already China and Spain have already decided to reach out to other sectors like climate change, like desertification. So we hope that we can also bring their wisdom on adaptation to climate change, on water protection into our ID2 discussion. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And just to add, thank you so much, very quickly, but for us also it's very important the participation, to have the stakeholders involved, to have this process really involved, to open the world, not only the ones that we are here. This is quite complicated, we know, and I think this is a shared goal of all co-chairs and also DESA and the co-host, how we can manage that people feel that we are working for them, and also we are listening, and how we can have some clear instrument to get these voices involved, because if not, we are not going to succeed. So maybe this is another point that we want to underline. We need to get everybody involved.
Thank you. Switzerland and Ghana.
Thank you. Well, we're already in the middle of it, in the middle of the roadmap. We already speak with one voice. And Water for People, the people want to have a say. And we've started with that. We will continue. We will harness the inputs, and we hope and we commit to actually making a difference. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Mesdames, Messieurs, à l'issue de cet échange avec les co-chairs, les coprésidents des 6 dialogues interactifs, nous pouvons retenir deux points majeurs. Le premier point, c'est que nous pouvons noter que les coprésidents sont très engagés. Ils ont partagé une grande ambition pour leur dialogue interactif, mais surtout une volonté de délivrer à l'issue de ce processus. Donc, la conclusion, c'est que nous pouvons retenir également cette nécessité de bâtir sur les processus existants. Donc, les pays côtiers vont s'appuyer plus sur ces processus-là, mais également cette nécessité de s'ouvrir à d'autres secteurs, à d'autres acteurs hors du secteur de l'eau, pour renforcer les compréhensions, apprendre de ces secteurs, mais également apporter les innovations nécessaires. Et enfin, le message et l'articulation nécessaire aujourd'hui, c'est d'articuler l'agenda eau, climat, biodiversité, etc., mais surtout la nécessité d'un alignement politique pour renforcer les progrès, diversifier les sources d'investissement pour le dialogue 5, par exemple, et le climat de confiance, mais surtout les aspects relatifs à dérisquer tous ces processus et les cadres pour favoriser des investissements nouveaux pour le secteur de l'eau. Sur ces mots, je voulais conclure et donner la parole à ma collègue pour donner quelques key takeaways. Shema, you can maybe share your point of view of what you retain from our discussions with the co-chairs. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you. We're not going to take much of your time. Thank you all. I think you all need a hand of applause, please. It felt like 3 days of workshops, squeezing everyone's brain, trying to get as much information, but also solutions to what we have in hand. Thank you to our co-chairs. Thank you for your time, your efforts. Just adding on to my colleague, Dr. Diata, there's a lot of common values, common planning, and a vision moving forward. So we look forward to working closely not only with the co-chairs, but with everyone here in this room, member states and stakeholders. To close the session, I don't want to kind of reiterate, but to close the session, we'd like to take a group photo, please, with the co-chairs and the co-hosts. Please, Your Excellencies, if you can all stand on stage to take a group photo.
Thank you. Thank you, co-chairs. Thank you, Shaima and Mohammed. Thank you, ministers, UAE and Senegal. A lot happened that was clear and a lot to be discussed moving forward. For the second segment, we will hear from the stakeholder groups. And Before we do that, perhaps, how are you? Are you still with us? Are you still with us? More water? How much more water? Lots of water. Okay. For the second segment, I'd like to hand the floor to a dear friend, already part of the 2023 UN Water Conference, and now Senior Sustainable Development Officer at the Division for Sustainable Development Goals at the Department for Economic and Social Affairs, Ms. Stephanie Rambler. Stephanie, thank you so much, and good luck with this second session.
Thank you so much, Hank. Thank you. We're just getting settled up here. So just don't worry. Yeah, okay. Okay. I'll just sit on the end so that I don't have my back to it. Mr. Satali, can you come forward? Is that the only person we're missing? And how about Amadou? Thank you for your patience. Just one more minute. We're just missing. Maybe I'll start introducing. I think we're waiting for Amadou Diallo, right? So I think I'll start by just introducing everyone, and then by the time we get to the end, I think we'll have all of our panelists up here. So thank you all so much. I'm Stephanie Rambler from DESA. I'm very happy to moderate this sub-panel, this session within the session. We've heard the vision of the member states, of the co-chairs and the co-hosts, and now we are going to turn to some of the implementers, the allies, the stakeholders. This is a whole of society effort that's needed, and so these are some very important players here. Over the last 3 days, we've had several opportunities to hear from stakeholders, starting on the 25th with a stakeholder day, where it was a very interactive and lively session. We heard a lot of wisdom coming from various parts of society. We also had interactive session 1 yesterday afternoon, and of course throughout the roundtables we've been hearing stakeholder voices. So we want to kind of consolidate that, kind of have a summary sort of what we've been hearing.
Can everybody in the room either be more quiet and more respectful to the stakeholder dialogue representatives, please? Because I think this, well, it's a long day and long days. It's important to continue to listen to each other and invest in one another. So please, let Stephanie and the representatives have their say and listen to their input, because it's important. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Hank. Thank you. So we are actually going to start with a country perspective. I don't want to have my back to you, so you sit there. And we are going to start with hearing some perspectives from our co-hosts. And we're going to start with the UAE because there's a plane to catch. So I'm very happy to welcome Ms. Mira Al-Mutawa, Projects Director of the Salama bin Hamad Al Nahyan Foundation. Over to you, Mira.
Thank you, Stephanie. Assalamu alaikum. Excellencies, distinguished guests, it's an honor to address this high-level preparatory meeting in Dakar as we collectively chart the path forward towards the UN Water Conference in the UAE in 2026, which the UAE is proud to co-host with Senegal. Allow me to share a few reflections of the National Water Accelerator Program that we have recently implemented in the UAE as part of our national preparations for hosting the conference. For the UAE, sustainability and water is a core pillar of our development. And as we prepare to host this conference, our leadership saw a clear need to unify vision and align all national efforts so that we could deliver impact at home and abroad. And to meet this need, the government of the United Arab Emirates launched a National Water Accelerator Program that was organized jointly by our Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Government Accelerator Center, which is under the Prime Minister Office in the UAE. And the way this accelerator works is that it really gathers multi-stakeholders from all around the UAE in an interactive platform. And it's really a dialogue for knowledge exchange and for co-creation. And we had more than 100 water sector leaders and experts come together from over 40 entities across the UAE, whether it is federal or local government, and even academic institutions and private sectors. And this was really through a series of workshops that we held to focus on identifying strategic opportunities in the water sector and enhance cross-sectoral collaboration and define practical national work streams to advance water sustainability, both in our country but also abroad. And to structure this work, what we've done is we put 5 themes for this accelerator. And this is directly related to the agenda of the conference later this year. Those themes are innovation and investment, integrated water resource management, knowledge and behavior change, digital integration of data and governance, and sustainable humanitarian response. And just to give an example of some of the focus areas of these, for example, under digital integration of data and governance, we looked at how we can connect our data systems and governance to really enhance transparency, accountability, and planning in the water sector in the UAE. And then across all of these themes and as an outcome of these workshops, we had more than 45 national and regional water initiatives that came out that will strategically address those needs. This is not an isolated exercise. This is directly linked to the SDG 6 and also linked to the agenda of the conference later this year. And this will inform how the UAE will engage with the 6 interactive dialogues as part of that conference. And just as a participant of the program myself in the accelerator, maybe just to share a few of the lessons learned and reflections, and some of my colleagues actually in this auditorium were also part of this program. I think one thing that we all learned was that leadership vision is really important, and so is broad participation. Having the academic sector, having the civil society, having the academia played a huge role in really achieving impactful ideas and then hopefully outcomes as well. Secondly, focusing the the themes or the priority areas really helped develop a framework where you can still be very creative, but it also helps you focus. And those 5 that I've mentioned earlier, we found to be really helpful in doing so. And then, finally, just connecting domestic initiatives with global priorities and global processes helped us, not only think about local challenges, but also how to connect it to regional efforts. And just to conclude, on behalf of the UAE team, we're really excited to share our learnings, but also to hear from everyone else, and just deliver impact in the water sector for water security for all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mira. Those were very inspiring examples and the kind of concrete initiatives that I know will be highlighted at the conference in Abu Dhabi. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Stephanie.
If you have to leave, please do.
I'm so sorry, I have to catch a flight.
She has a flight to catch, so thank you again. We will now move to our other co-host, and Mr. Amadou Diallo, who is Senior Advisor to the Minister of Water and Sanitation here in Senegal. Over to you.
Merci beaucoup. Je voudrais dire que pour le Sénégal, en parlant du Sénégal, on va parler certainement de beaucoup d'autres pays qui sont en train de vivre les mêmes réalités que nous, en tant que pays africains en voie de développement, mais quand même qui développent beaucoup de politiques et de stratégies pour atteindre les ODD. D'ici Abu Dhabi, nous, ce que nous voulons, c'est par rapport aux systèmes qui ont été arrêtés, de montrer concrètement ce que nous sommes en train de faire. Si on prend la première thématique, nous avons bâti aujourd'hui, sur la base de notre lettre de politique sectorielle, un grand programme d'investissement sur la sécurité de l'eau, sur la résilience climatique, sur l'utilisation des eaux non conventionnelles comme le dessalement. Nous travaillons sur les transferts d'eau, nous travaillons également sur l'alimentation en eau en milieu rural. Et ce qui nous permet aujourd'hui de pouvoir atteindre un taux d'accès amélioré de plus de 90%. Mais le problème que nous avons aujourd'hui, c'est le stress hydrique qui pointe, mais également c'est le problème de la qualité de l'eau. Et c'est la raison pour laquelle nous avons travaillé à bâtir une initiative nationale qui s'appelle les autoroutes de l'eau. Prendre l'eau au niveau des fleuves et les transférer vers les zones. Et quand on prend tout ce programme d'investissement, il est autour de 7,8 milliards de dollars. Et tout cela, c'est pour que, sur la thématique eau pour les populations, qu'on puisse atteindre les SDGs. Sur les questions de eau et prospérité, nous sommes un pays qui travaille beaucoup aujourd'hui sur l'utilisation de l'eau pour l'agriculture. Et dans le nouveau programme que nous avons mis en place en matière de sécurité hydrique, nous avons travaillé avec le ministère de l'Agriculture, avec le ministère de l'Énergie. Et les programmes que nous développons vont permettre également de développer de l'agriculture. Et un exemple, nous aurons aujourd'hui à pouvoir, d'ici 2050, arriver à 700 000 hectares donc de terres irriguées. Cela va nous permettre de toucher 15 millions de personnes, mais surtout de créer 2,8 millions d'emplois. Je pense qu'il est important, comme l'a dit Saroche ce matin, de pouvoir faire le switch dans le discours. Oui, investissons dans l'eau pour les populations, mais quand on investit dans l'eau également, on crée de la croissance. On a également travaillé sur le thème de l'investissement, pour ne pas être long. Vous savez qu'au niveau du Sénégal, nous avons une longue histoire de partenariat public-privé. Nous avons confié la gestion de l'eau en milieu urbain au secteur privé depuis maintenant 30 ans, sous forme d'affermage. Mais aujourd'hui, ce qu'on fera, et c'est le plus important, c'est que sur les 7,8 milliards de dollars, les 70% vont être levés sous forme de financement privé. Et donc, nous travaillons aujourd'hui à développer des partenariats publics-privés. Parce qu'au niveau national, nous avons une loi sur les contrats de partenariat public-privé. Nous avons déjà signé le contrat pour une usine de dessalement de 400 000 m3 d'eau par jour avec Aquapower. Et je pense qu'à ce niveau, ce qui est important pour nos pays, c'est de pouvoir utiliser ce PPP pour réduire le poids de l'endettement, parce qu'il y a une déconsolidation qui se fait. Mais également, il est important que nous puissions avoir les capacités de négociation avec le secteur privé. Le secteur privé vient pour gagner de l'argent, mais nous, ce qu'on veut, c'est avoir de l'argent, investir, mais en étant bien conseillés. Et c'est là où je pense qu'aujourd'hui, nos pays devront travailler à développer les capacités de négociation, travailler avec des institutions comme la Banque mondiale sur AFC Advisor ou bien avec la Banque africaine de développement. Et enfin, nous voulons arriver à Abu Dhabi avec un compact bleu cadre. Tous ces investissements que nous allons réaliser, nous voulons travailler avec les banques multilatérales de développement, le secteur privé, toutes les catégories de donateurs autour d'un compact bleu cadre où toutes les interventions vont être intégrées. Et surtout maintenant, enfin, engager la plus haute responsabilité de notre pays. C'est-à-dire, ces plans, il faut qu'il y ait un portage politique. C'est la raison pour laquelle le président de la République était là et nous allons travailler sur un pacte national eau-assainissement qui va s'aligner donc à Head of State Initiative avec la SWA et le président de la République va s'engager sur ce pacte national pour mettre en œuvre ce compact cadre pour nous aider à venir à Abu Dhabi avec de l'action, c'est-à-dire comment atteindre les objectifs de développement durable en étant certes un petit pays qui a gagné la Coupe du Monde, la Coupe d'Afrique. Peut-être qu'on va gagner la prochaine Coupe du Monde. Voilà, donc c'est vraiment dans l'action que nous voudrons travailler et je pense que ça va être très excitant de travailler sur la feuille de route pour Abu Dhabi. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you so much, Amadou. Thank you for sharing those innovations and the kinds of public-private partnerships and financing mechanisms that are going to be so crucial for success. And as we take the road from Dakar to Abu Dhabi, and again, congratulations on the championship. Thank you. So now we will move to the stakeholder groups, and again, we'll be hearing from individuals who've been engaged in the various meetings over the last 3 days, and so we'll sort of have a recap of some of their insights. I would like to first invite Mr. Mutwa Sitali, Acting CEO, Sanitation and Water for All Partnership. Over to you.
Thank you very much. So yesterday I was seated up there next to our steering committee chair, that's the steering committee of SWA, Dr. Moriarty. And the congratulations to Senegal kept on flowing. So I said to him, this is going to be excruciating for those of us African countries that really wanted to win the Africa Cup. But to show that there are no hard feelings, I will congratulate my brother and our Senegalese brothers and sisters. Once again, congratulations for winning. And maybe we'll campaign to our Zambian government to host the next UN Water Conference, just in case maybe you win because of that. So thank you so much. Yesterday we had a really good conversation about multi-stakeholder engagement. We realized that it's a complex process to involve multiple stakeholders. And in this process, we do not need to involve just other stakeholders within water and sanitation, but we also need to engage other sectors. And that requires time, it requires effort, it requires a purposeful process to bring everyone on board. So the conversation really focused on pushing for a purposeful engagement, one that is collective, that is inclusive, building already on the results of this preparatory process to make sure that in Abu Dhabi, delegations are also inclusive, but that the results themselves are also driven with very clear purpose in terms of what can be achieved by engaging multiple stakeholders. The final thing was also that this requires leadership. So it requires leadership from governments to open up the spaces, and this is the case in several countries, but there are also places where that could be improved on. And there was a call also that when these spaces are available, partners should maximize those opportunities for engagement. Last we had a Slido which it centralized really on water youth strategy. I'm sure Emira will talk about that. But one of the words on that slide was accountability. So we cannot talk about multi-stakeholder engagement just for the sake of it. It has to lead results. And to identify those results, accountability is a serious part of that process. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sitali. Excellent points, and about the importance not only of engaging stakeholders, but looking beyond the water sector, and also moving beyond just sort of checking the box participation, but really making sure that the ideas and the demands coming from stakeholders are really taken into consideration seriously by the member states and by the conference process. So thank you. Now I'm going to move close to me here to Ms. Aluki Kotierk, who's the chair of the UN High-Level Permanent Forum for Indigenous Issues. Aluki, over to you.
Thank you. One of the cross-cutting issues that I've heard about over the last few days is in relation to climate change. And so I thought, when I think of climate change and water, I think of permafrost thawing. And when I think about permafrost thawing, I think about how lakes are draining. And I think about how infrastructure is impacted by the permafrost thawing. And I think about how do we address the infrastructure challenge because it's been impacted by the climate change because the permafrost is thawing. And so then it makes one think about the investments that are required to address that infrastructure. Whether it's for the water sector or whether it's for other things, then one starts thinking about, well, what should the infrastructure look like? Where should it be? And so then you start thinking about, well, where are the prevailing winds? Where do they come from? Where does the spring snow melt flow? How do the snowdrifts form? And I think questions like that could help determine where infrastructure should be located. For instance, where should the door be facing? Where should the entrance be? And those types of things are known by people in the communities who have lived experience, who have made observations of their environment over millennia. And so by involving indigenous peoples who are at the community level, it creates a very rich contribution that they can make. And so I wanted to stress that about why it's important to have the ambition to strengthen engagement. And so then it was really encouraging for me to hear so many people talk about inclusivity and the desire to achieve that. So we think about what are the voices that are missing? And I attended the stakeholder meeting on Sunday and there was that question posed and I really appreciate it. And people talked about the voices that were missing that are not here. And so then it makes one question, okay, well, what can we do? What are the pragmatic steps that we can take to make sure the voices that are not here can be also heard? So then we start consciously thinking about what are the voices that are not here that we need to hear, that would make things better, that would have solutions that are richer, that meet the needs of the people, the indigenous peoples in community. And so to be able to achieve that, one has to think, how do I do that? And the reality is, in many parts of the world, Northern Canada included, there's a great distrust between Indigenous peoples and state, based on the historical relationships that we have had that have not always been positive. And so to be able to create that space of inclusivity, of consciously welcoming people to be a part of the process, there needs to be a relationship that is established. There needs to be trust regained, and it takes time. And so I say this because sometimes in this day and age, I think we're often looking for instant solutions, but actually really good things when you're meeting as equals, when you're talking about how you can bring differing views and diversity. It requires relationships, and relationships are built over time. So, and it's also built through consistency, through regular interactions. It's not enough to invite a group for one meeting and say, wow, check we're going to check this checklist and we've included these people. We have to have a relationship over time. And with that and the trust building over time, you're able to have a better relationship and better results. That's more meaningful. So it's not just about strengthening engagement, but it's crucially important that it's meaningful engagement. So to create meaningful engagement, what do we need? And I think we need commitment. And commitment comes in many different ways. Commitment comes in terms of time commitment, making sure people have the appropriate information so that they can prepare and be able to meaningfully participate in the engagement that is occurring with thoughts about what they mean. It means commitments in terms of resources to make sure people are able to participate and travel to different meetings or participate virtually. I know when we were thinking about what voices are missing, there was a group of people that was named in terms of not being literate in the digital medium and not being able to participate in some of these virtual meetings, for instance. So there's many ways that we can think about that. So I wanted to stress how by working on the relationships, by making these commitments, all of us will be richer because the solutions will be better. And the voices of women, the voices of youth, the voices of indigenous peoples will already create solutions that are richer. For instance, we'll talk about prosperity. What does prosperity mean? I know there's an interactive dialogue about water for prosperity, but there could be a whole diverse view on what prosperity means and what prosperity needs to include when we're having this discussion. We can talk about how the human right, the different barriers that are that we don't often think about when we're thinking about making sure water is accessible to everyone. So, for instance, Indigenous women might come to the discussion and talk about the very real choice that they have to make on a daily basis in terms of making sure their children are healthy when they're living under the poverty line, and they have to make a choice about, do I get good water, or do I pay for good food, or do I pay for heating for my house? And so there's people that are finding themselves in these very difficult circumstances that life has doled out to them, that they're not able to meet their basic needs. And we need to make sure that the solutions we're working on are actually going to meet those needs. So how are we going to do that? And it's crucially important that we create the space and think about the pragmatic ways that we can do that. Finally, as the chair of the United Nations Permanent Forum on Indigenous Issues, I think it's incumbent on me to reiterate what I said yesterday. I would like to invite you to our next session that will be held 20 April to 1st May 2026 to continue this very important discussion in concrete terms about how Indigenous peoples can contribute to this water process. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aluki, for those very wise words. I think it reminds me of what the co-hosts have been saying about this conference not being a moment, but a process. So there will be time to build these relationships up to December of 26 and beyond. And thank you also for highlighting the inextricable relationship between people and planet, and then that will have to be woven through the conference as a whole. I would now like to turn to our youth representative, Miss Amira Levia, and she is the Central Asia Youth for Water representative. So Amira, over to you.
Thank you so much. Excellencies, distinguished partners, and dear colleagues, for many years, The youth in the water sector have been invited to share perspectives, to participate in discussions, and to describe challenges. Today, we have a different message. We are ready to implement the water use strategy. I think that we talked a lot about it yesterday, today, the entire week. But actually, it took us 16 months to prepare it with other youth movements, setting out the clear priorities. So they're investing in education and capacity development, scaling innovative solutions, creating young professionals, career paths, and meaningfully including young people in decision making. For youth, these opportunities are not just words. They are about preparing a new generation of water leaders who can carry ambition and responsibility. The main takeaway message that youth are delivering today is simple but urgent. We need to move from commitments to action. This is why the Global Youth Movement for Water, together with other partners, is working toward a water youth coalition focused on implementation. This coalition is not just another platform to discuss challenges, issues that we already know. It is about a practical mechanism that we all wanted, that we all discussed all these days. It's designed to connect youth networks, institutions, and partners to implement the strategy on the ground. We are therefore deeply encouraged to see Senegal and the United Arab Emirates looking forward and committing to the implementation of the water use strategy as the priority toward the 2026 UN Water Conference. Please have a look at it. It's actually available online on the UNESCO website. So let me be very clear. I need all your attention right now. The implementation of the strategy requires a coalition of partners to make it real. And the Global Youth Movement for Water is ready to take on the coordination role on the implementation of this coalition, working hand in hand with all of you. So I think that I can use the privilege of being young and talk from all my heart. So to be honest, I'm so happy to be here. We had so much interesting and insightful conversations, formal dialogues, and especially informal dialogues in this crazy line for the COVID break. So you know that we, Global Youth Movement for Water, we received so much support, so much love, and so much trust. And I think that, I know for sure that we are ready to act. We are ready to implement all together, leaving no one behind. So, merci beaucoup. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amira, for your energy and your inspiring words. I think in some ways young people are impatient and we need to take advantage of that. It's a good thing to be impatient and to want to move on to implementation because the time is now for that. So thank you so much. Now I would like to turn to Mr. Neil Dott, my friend, Director of Aquafed. Over to you, Neil.
Thank you very much. And I'm getting strange signals to be quick, so no long speeches from me. I just noticed on the screen just now, I was sitting next to Amira here, and such a contrast between youth and optimism and joy, and this tired old man sitting next to her. I can see my bald patches, and it's like, oh my God. Okay, right. Look, I'm gonna answer the question with a question. Look, how to talk about the private sector? We're extremely wide and different and broad. For example, quiz question for you. What's the difference in risk-reward appetite between a VC fund who invests in water startups versus a pension fund? Right? First question. I don't expect you to actually answer or know this. Secondly, the objectives between a company like Veolia versus Nestle. Massively different, completely different, right? Third point. My good friend Thierry Babot up there, who runs Udema, the CEO of Udema, what's the biggest challenge that he faces in West Africa? You wouldn't guess it because it's nothing to do with water, all right? The reason I'm asking these questions is because what we've come to realize here, I think from private sector colleagues that are here, is that there's still a big lack of understanding about who we all are. And we're so diverse and so broad and so different, yet we are kind of lumped in the same group. We've got a big contribution to make. We're actually 2/3 of the global economy. So if you think about it that way, we have got a lot to offer the sector. But at the moment, we have a fundamental issue. This is the point I'm trying to make, is that there's clearly a lack of understanding. yet we've got about 4 years to go till SDG 6 finishes and we move on to something else. So we've got to sort this out pretty damn quickly. Now, luckily, a solution, I think, hopefully, is at hand, because one of the things we've been kind of discussing recently, and hopefully it's accelerating through this event, is a clear kind of pathway or a kind of direction into UN water, because business has never had that before, right? And now I'm talking about all of us. I just mentioned about how different we are, but actually now I'm talking of us as a collective we, a kind of structured route into UN water, where the point of that is that it's with a view of the UN and UN water then facilitating structured discussion with member states that's transparent, that's clear and focused. So there's nothing to hide here, and we invite constructive players from civil society to be part of this, and notice I mentioned constructive, not ideological, to be part of this work. Then I think what will end up in the end is actually solutions that makes difference on the ground, and the sector actually making use, again, of all of us who are actually 2/3 of the global economy. Because at the moment, the water sector is not doing that. So I think I've hopefully presented you a problem, a kind of query, but also a solution. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Neil. And that is definitely one of the key questions to answer for this conference, is how do we most effectively engage the private sector? And so we have 10 months to figure it out, but I think challenge accepted, and thank you so much for leading on that. And finally, I would like to turn to Mr. Ziad Kayat, who is the Senior Sustainable Development Officer for Water at the UN Economic and Social Commission for Western Asia. Over to you, Ziad.
Thank you, thank you. In the peculiar position being the last one and having to wrap up in a minute or less. Just want to stress that I don't want to report on the discussion we had only yesterday, but on the discussion that I've heard throughout the 2 days and throughout the process that the regional commissions, the 5 regional commissions, have been fostering at the regional level. And this provides a process within this route to the UN 2026. We've started working on this regional platforms and working with countries, bringing countries together in sharing knowledge, sharing ambitions, and sharing knowledge across countries in the hope of accelerating and scaling up solutions at the regional level, but also bridging the global to the country level and the country to the global through a regional process that has been available to countries in the different regions. And I do call on all countries and stakeholders, different stakeholders at the different regions to engage. There's an opportunity now for the Regional Forum for Sustainable Development that do have a review on SDG 6. This is an excellent opportunity to engage at the regional level, and these will be throughout the year focusing and leading towards this process and summing up at the end in the UN 2026 UN Water Conference in UAE. Again, I'd like to thank the co-hosts of this UN Water Conference, Merci Senegal and Shukran Emirat, for putting the trust and giving us the space, this regional platform, to engage countries at that level and feed into the global process. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ziad. The regional and national perspectives are indeed very important, and thank you for highlighting those important milestones that we can use as we move forward towards the conference. And with that, I would ask for one more round of applause for our panelists, and I will turn it back to Henk.
Thank you so much, Stephanie and panelists. And time is also of the essence. So the next part it's going to be a little bit different, which is good. So I'd like all of the next panelists on stage, being Professor Yoon-Yan Lee, Patrick Childs, Mr. Nelson Gumunda, Mr. Hotam Korbanboza, Ms. Madhu Chatterjee, Mr. Juste Nanzi, Helena Tibel, Kala Vayamoroti, and Ms. Birgo Lamizana. But you can't sit. So you have to stand on the podium, because we're going to do a little rap. Otherwise, and actually, why don't you all stand? It's good for your legs. A little bit of the blood streaming through your bodies for this little rap to make sure that we are on this alive and that we don't fall asleep, because, quoting what was just said, consistency, continuity, and commitment demand a lot of effort and energy. And there's a Dutch saying that trust comes by turtle, but it leaves by horse. So let's be on our feet like turtles and horses and figure out how we're going to build trust together. So I'll do a rep, because we have to be fast and faster, otherwise this doesn't work. And I know, Patrick, you have to catch a plane, so you're first. What we will do here is a representation of events and moments that just happened in Morocco and in Brussels, and is about to happen this year as key stepping stones towards the 2026 UN Water Conference. So Patrick, the floor is yours. A quick wrap-up of Brussels.
You think so? Yeah. Okay, no, this has been a wonderful time. But I think the word I've heard most often during the last 2 days is action. But the difficulty is that we often hear it's action that other people could take in an ideal world. And I think what we need to do is take responsibility for the actions that we can take ourselves. So 3 things that the European Commission is going to do between now and the conference. Firstly, we're going to open up thematic dialogues based on our water resilience strategy with partners like Senegal, UAE, in order to show how, in practice, global collaborations can work. Secondly, we're going to intensify the direct support that we give to river basins in deeply affected regions, starting with the river basins in Senegal and Gambia. And thirdly, we're going to continue our support for the countries that want to join water conventions and conferences by giving them technical assistance and the political leadership and support that they need. 3 actions that we will take in order to help prepare for a successful event in Abu Dhabi.
Wow, applause. Very good. Thank you, Patrick. Okay, Professor Yong-Yan Lee, you're going to report back from Morocco, right? The World Water Congress, the 19th one. Please, the floor is yours for your wrap-up.
Yeah, thank you. So in Morocco, we have a very successful congress. We attract more than 2,000 people together, organized with our Morocco colleagues, and arrange about 400 sessions to discuss important issues of water. So what a major message we get, and also as IWRI, we also believe it's more important to establish the scientists and policies and practical to come to a circle to solve the real problem. So that's one of the systematic approach. And the second, water is interacted to all the aspects we mentioned here. Water for the social welfare and for the people, for the economic, for the environment, for the ecological. So really there's need for the systematic approach to balance what is human needs, what is natural needs, and what is human created risk, and what is resilience you have to provide to our water system, and also what is the water load you put on the water in terms of water withdrawal, in terms of wastewater discharge, and also what is the natural capacity of the current capacity of the natural system. Last but not least, also the value of the water. You have to balance the economic value of water and also the ecological value of water. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Big hand of applause. It also tells that the water sector is jumping out of its box and reaching out to other sectors, but the systemic approach can never be dealt alone. Okay. We go to the AU Head of State Summit in February, Mr. Nelson Gomunda. Please, your rep, looking forward.
So I have to be very careful. My the president of AMCO is in the room, so I have to be careful as I rap. But the message is very clear that in Africa, as we say in Nigeria, the rhythm of the drum beat has changed. And when the rhythm of drum beat changes, the dance step must adapt. So we can ask, what has the rhythm changed? What has really changed? So we entered the new millennium with the Africa Water Vision 2025. But the ministers responsible for water and sanitation, realizing that we have come to the final milestone year in 2025, they have come up and adopted an Africa Water Vision 2063 and a policy. And this is the policy that we are saying now is the rhythm that we have to adapt the dancing steps going forward. The heads of state, when they are meeting in February, they are basically requested to endorse the new Africa Water Vision and policy. And then once that is done, then we have been asked by our leaders, the African ministers themselves as well, together with the African Union, the African Development Bank, the United Nations Economic Mission for Africa, and all the stakeholders and partners to develop the first implementation plan looking at the period from 2026 to 2033. This is where we are calling all stakeholders, all the member states, including all the regional economic communities, business organizations, and everyone to join hands with us to develop the first implementation plan that we can all rally together and mobilize the necessary resources to implement the new vision and policy. For this reason, we are reminded of what our colleagues in Burkina Faso say, that if you want to walk fast, then you have to walk alone. But if you want to walk far, walk with others. Our desire in AMCAO is that we all work together so that we can achieve the vision that we have agreed on the continent. With the support of everyone in the room and the leadership of our AMCAO president and all the ministers as well, we believe that we can achieve this vision by 2063. I don't know where you'll be by that time, but that is our desire, that we achieve the vision together. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nelson. Thank you. And we're going to dance a full water cycle. That's what we hear. And it's starting here in Africa, and it will dance around the world. And we will dance until we are in Dushanbe. Yes, as that is, in the context of the decade, again a conference leading up towards December in Abu Dhabi. And then, of course, looking forward to 2028 Dushanbe. Mr. Hotam, please, your rep towards Dushanbe.
Thank you so much. We already talked about the Dushanbe process, but once again, I would like to inform that Tajikistan and United Nations will host on 25th and 28th of May this year the fourth international conference in the framework of Dushanbe process, and the overall objective of the conference is accelerate implementation of water action decade. And this conference also will serve as a key preparatory milestone for the 2026 water conference and bridge the outcomes of the 2023 water conference, and also will focus on practical action, and also to facilitate for the new partnership. And finally, we'll also provide the early platform to begin shaping the UN 2028 water conference and to final review of the water action decades and the post 2030 agenda. In this case, we are very happy and we are pleased to invite all of you together, member states, stakeholders, and all UN agencies to combine or direct all our joint efforts and to maximum use our efforts to get very tangible result in order to get very successful UN 2026 conference in Abu Dhabi. And given this opportunity, I would like once again to thank the government of the United Arab Emirates and Senegal for very wonderful opportunity and this convenience, this event, and the warm hospitality. Thank you. See you in Dushanbe in May.
Thank you. Yes, hand of applause. Dancing alone is no fun. And Madhu knows this as no other, as being such a good friend and partner towards 2023 and all the other conferences, but definitely towards 2026. And in July, and as you see, we have like a sequence of events across the year. We're in New York for the High-Level Political Forum, where SDG 6 review will be presented. Madhu, please share some outlook towards that moment and the importance for the 2026 Water Conference.
Thank you, Hank. For the 2026 Water Conference, of course, the HLPF in 2026 will be very important. And DESA, with the support of the UN system, will be helping member states assess and review SDG 6 through their voluntary national reviews. And what we want to do and what we want to see is solutions and action that member states have taken in their own countries, especially towards the SDG 6 targets, but also lending towards the interlinkages between all the SDGs and SDG 6. Now, 36 countries will be presenting their voluntary national reviews in 2026, and I want to give a big shout out to 4 countries. First is Senegal and UAE. Congratulations that you will be presenting your voluntary national reviews at the 2026 HLPF. We are expecting big things from you. And of course, also Switzerland and Egypt. You are co-chairs of 2 interactive dialogues. So we want to see what you bring forward to the 2026 HLPF. Thank you, Hank.
Thank you, Madhu. It's going to be exciting in July in New York. And from New York, we go to Africa. Juste, the Africa Water and Sanitation Systems Leadership Symposium after July and August. Tell us what's going to happen at that Leadership Symposium and why is it important for the 2026 UN Water Conference?
Thank you very much, Hank. We need really to get Africa prepared for Abu Dhabi. This is a critical moment. Dakar is showing urgency. We need now to sit as African leaders and agree on the reform pathways. How do we address the bottlenecks preventing the continent from attracting the investment and for realizing the investment that are missing critically to achieve the ambitions? So that's the whole point of joining us, guys. I'm really honored here for being appointed by the government of Rwanda, by the African Union Commission through AMCAO and the Africa Water Investment Program to pass you on this message. The next critical step for all African leaders is Kigali. You all need to come to Kigali. It's critical for us. This call goes to the head of states because we need political support to really leverage the sector's challenges. We need ministers of finance in charge of finance and economic planning because there is no way we address the complex water challenges without fiscal discipline. We need ministers in charge of water and sanitation because reform starts with them. We need heads of utilities. We need the development finance institutions. We need to sit to discuss reform. We need to sit to discuss transformation. These are the critical things that we've agreed here that we need to do. But how do we do this? This is what we want to discuss in Kigali. It's starting now. We want you to all engage. We want you to all register and see you all in Kigali.
Yeah, we go to Kigali, August. But August is not over. Yes, look at that. And we have over 150 people putting inputs in Slido. And again, like yesterday, the water use strategy is winning. But you still have a chance. This is also a relevant year because it is the year of 3 Rio Convention COPs. UNCCD, CBD, and UNFCCC. Desertification, biodiversity, and climate. And therefore, I give the floor to Birgu, because being the head in the context of UNCCD, you can also represent a bit of the other conventions. Tell us why these conventions matter so most for 2026, and how they will provide the input for that relevant water conference in Abu Dhabi.
Thank you, Heng. I think that 2026 will be what we call again the triple COP, as what we had in 2024, and learning from the lesson from 2024, where we have a successive COP for the 3 Rio Convention. Now we know how to really build upon. And building upon, meaning that we have to work on the same messaging, and same messaging like using land, water, biodiversity, climate, to shape it forward and have the same messaging. This is at the global level. But it's not always enough working on that because it's a language, but we need also, because we have focal points at the local level, we have framework on reporting like NAPS, like the NDCs, like the the SEPSAS, and we have all this reporting, so we can, and it's what we are doing right now, working together to build this capacity so that the reporting could be aligned. We could have defined the same indicators so that we also lessen the burden we are having on the countries on reporting on different states to different conventions. And this is something to add more, is to see how would we do a kind of integration. And here, during the 3 days, 2 days and a half, you will see that integration, inclusion, the voice of everyone is counting. So how do we prepare and have an integration and inclusion way of a preparatory meeting process leading to all these different, I see you, Hank, starting by now and then moving toward July, August. But then we see how do we, going forward, keeping the momentum at different level, at global level, at national level, but across sectorial, and talking beyond just water and having water matter. Because when we see, for me, looking for UNCCD, the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification, or biodiversity, or climate, and Ramsar also, don't leave it out because it's the oldest one. And it's shape us when we talk about desertification, we talk about drought, and it's where at the ground, where you have the meeting point of land, water, and climate. And it's where action can take. And to take action and have a result, you have to involve and see what are the other framework we have and how can we use it, strengthen it, and make it more efficient.
Thanks, Birgit. And that means that, and Musonda is here, this is not the year of the Wetlands COP, it was last year, but we'll take that there will be in February already a meeting with Egypt and Japan, the heads of these UN agencies and the Ramsar Secretariat, as well as with the presidencies of where these COPs are, to align efforts to make sure that water has an impact in all those conversations. We're getting towards the end of the year, towards Abu Dhabi. We're in Stockholm now. Helena, Stockholm World Water Week, CIWI as the institute. What will Stockholm bring for the 2026 UN Water Conference?
Yes, well, the UN Water Conference will be a great opportunity at World Water Week. The theme for this year is Water for People and Progress. And we will be talking about what is the progress in the Sustainable Development Goals and beyond. So World Water Week is a reoccurring event that is in the calendar for decades. And I think it is a great opportunity for different stakeholders from various sectors to meet, co-create, discuss, and also in a very more informal way, but also, of course, formal. And I think it will be a great stepping stone to really align towards Abu Dhabi. It's a good position in August, right before. So welcome everyone and engage with CIWI to find out what can we do together before, under, and after leading up to Abu Dhabi.
Thanks, Helena. And I think Stockholm is also a little bit of a temperature check. How far are we towards Abu Dhabi? Are we getting nervous or excited, or is there opportunity? And therefore, I'm very happy to have Kala here, because in Glasgow in October, IWA will organize its conference that actually feeds into the 2026 UN Water Conference. Kala, tell us why that moment is so important and how all of what you've heard can channel through Glasgow into Abu Dhabi.
Thanks, Hank. So what's come out of Dakar is that water, rightly so, is not really about the sector, but it's really a systemic enabler. It supports human rights, prosperity, and planetary stability, many things. And so that integrated thinking, the question is, how do we take that ambition into practice? And that's where IWA really come to the fore. I mean, we're an association of 10,000 water professionals who are coming from utilities, operators, regulators, technology providers. And so what we're trying to do is really go through what the UN process is doing and trying to understand what does that mean to practitioners on the ground? How do they translate some of these ideas into practice? Now, we had our development congress in Bangkok. You were there. We developed a communique. That high-level summit we had in Bangkok was very much influenced by the UN process and some of the ideas coming through the preparations for Dakar, and we produced a communique, and it really gave some leadership to IWA. Now we move on to Glasgow in October this year, and the idea is really to take some of the inputs from the papers from Dakar and share it with the practitioners in our high-level summit in Glasgow, and again ask them the questions, how do we implement some of these ideas, particularly in the area of finance and also water for people, and what are the challenges to implement some of these ideas. And those outcomes from Glasgow hopefully can feed the work that goes into UAE in December. So we're really looking forward to providing some input through testing and stress testing some of the stuff that's coming through this process with people who work on the ground, and try and then inform the discussions that take place in Abu Dhabi.
Thanks, Kala, and thanks for that commitment. When we are in October, the temperature is right. We know where we are. We still have some months to do. I want to pay tribute to the ones who are not here. And I won't be complete, of course, but there's a World Urban Forum. There is the UN Permanent Forum on Indigenous Issues. There is, of course, Mission Water with the World Bank at the spring meetings. There is the OECD Roundtable on Financing Water. There's the World Basin Summit. There is UNGA in September. There's Cairo Water Week. There are other water weeks around the world. There are youth events. There is a private sector Global Water Intelligence Summit. There's Singapore Water Week. There's the MBZ Water Initiative event, and so forth, and so forth, and so forth. You know that water has to step out of the box. So these events are on the side of in and out water, and we will use them all. I want a big hand of applause for these rappers, and thank you all for standing with them. Thank you. Who's that? Ah, okay. Okay. With that, I'm very happy to close this part of the final part of these days here in Dakar by thanking the government of Senegal for hosting us and thanking the government of the UAE for being the co-host together with Senegal towards this. And now I'm going to introduce the two moderators. But the question is where they are. Where are they? This was a surprise, so I just was handed it. Can we have the Slido slide back up again? Just to make sure we pay tribute to what you all said. Hello? Can you put the Slido result back up again? Technology. Hello? So, yes, I see it on my screen, so it's coming. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, here, look. So, thanks to your input now, these are issues that matter for you here in this room towards 2026. And because they matter for you, they matter for us, and they matter for the co-hosts. They matter for the co-chairs of the 6 interactive dialogues, and they will be taken into account, as set by all co-chairs and co-hosts as of in this process. Listening, being able to partner, to build trust, and to engage and capitalize on the moments that we have is going to be critical important. But you see, the water youth strategy gets the most attention. And there is a reason for that. When we did 2023, the youth got together and asked for 30-30-30. 30% of all engagement and decision making before 2030 has to be part of people under 30. And we committed to that, but of course we hardly delivered. It's a tough commitment. So I think the water youth strategy will help us. Will we do this? I'm just asking advice on what's next. The music. Yeah, okay. But where are they? Where are the moderators? There they are. Yay! Thank you. Hi. Very good to see you. Thank you for coming. I give you the mic.
Thank you so much. Hello everybody. Bonjour à tous. J'espère que vous allez bien. I hope everybody is doing amazing today. After these 2 days, 2 very important days about water, about exchange, about collaboration, and all the great things that you professionals discuss during these 2 days. My name is Sophia Ba, and it's a pleasure to close this event with you guys. C'est avec le même honneur aujourd'hui que j'ai le plaisir de fermer, ou plutôt de vous accompagner pour la fermeture de cet événement. Et justement, alors que nous arrivons à cette belle clôture, nous avons préparé pour vous un moment important, aussi important pour la culture que la musique sénégalaise. Au moment où nous clôturons cette réunion de haut niveau, nous vous proposons un intermède musical de qualité, un intermède musical qu'on ne présente plus. Today, as we close these 2 days, we are offering you to discover for some and to enjoy for everyone this icon, musical Senegalese icon, who will be here in a moment. Please, everyone, if you can make a standing ovation, un tonnerre d'applaudissements pour Monsieur Baba Mal.
Wow.
Siri Jambatoro Sare No more war, no more trouble, no more war, no more suffering, no more war, no more violence, no more war. No more discrimination. All we need, all we need, all we need, all we need is love. If you want to be an example, we all need to work on peace in a bright future for all the next generation. Africa, sakinama, yejam nalay berndam boyinga kami mi jojin musikolo. Dini disera Africa, 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 sakinama yejam nalay berndam. Sidiga, Sidi. Merci beaucoup. Thank you. Welcome to Senegal. Welcome to Dakar, the country of hospitality. I was just performing the song Wakanda from Black Panther. It's to picture this very, very, very positive continent, Africa. When you travel in Africa, quand on voyage en Afrique, you can see that the culture is so strong. But what will impress you when you travel like a musician in Africa also is to see that there is a lot of beautiful and positive vibes coming from the women because they have the ability to be together in this continent. And also the young people of this continent, whatever happened, facing sometimes poverty, lack of education, but whenever they wake up in the morning, they go to do their best to find opportunities to bring to their homes. And it's really a great honor for me, Baba Mal, to be here with you guys today. We're talking about water. I come from the north of Senegal, near the river Senegal. I know the importance of having water, clean water for everyone. And talking about sustainable living, we have so many projects down there in agriculture, fishing. But we need you guys, when you sit down in a place like that, to exchange and to bring ideas. to get the inspiration from you, and we can make songs to take it back to the community, and so they can join this force that can make Africa clean and great.
Baba,
How you doing today? Peuple du continent noir, homme du Sahel et de la forêt, homme de la savane et du grand désert, africain mon frère, wallahi mon sang, écoute ta musique.
Quand le soir, au cours de nos veillées, nos griots, après un moment de profond recueillement, jouent sur leur kora, l'air d'Ankara. Seydina Muhammadu Rasulullah, salam alaikum Sénégal, Maron Bareja, Merci, Baboulaye, Fanta. This instrument is called the kora. And today we have Mr. Alun Diouf at the tambourine. And Mr. Baboulaye at the kora. Mami Kanute at the backing vocals. bondo way fanta korel ronde deji fanta jam nyande fanta jarabiye inspiré à une jeune amante par la montée des eaux. Moment où toute la nature se revêt de son manteau vert. Le fleuve grossit, inonde toute la terre. Son fiancé, comme tout jeune foutanké, doit répondre à l'appel des travaux champêtres. Le Djeri, c'est la séparation. Elle entend le chant de revoir. Bien-aimés, serrons-nous bien la main et à nous revoir. La chanson nostalgique du cœur qui aime et qui patiemment attend l'amour tant rêvé. Joie aussi dans le cœur du fiancé qui aborde Bouel Mogdat, glissant majestueusement dans les eaux du fleuve qui jarrit vie et prospérité. Frisson de plaisir à l'annonce de la voix limpide des sirènes qui s'éparpillent dans la nuit. Elle entend le chant de revoir. Joie aussi dans le cœur du fiancé qui aborde du Bouel Mogdad, glissant majestueusement dans les eaux du fleuve qui charrie vie et prospérité. Frisson de plaisir à l'annonce de la voix limpide des sirènes qui s'éparpillent dans la nuit. Mimi hamto, misabito, mimi jo. Hanki mamo mitawaka, hanki masangai sangai. Dekoli ko imeli mbiabani, jamaji digre. Kome takatabe Afrika, Afrika, Afrika. Fanta, 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 Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much. Mami Kanute. We're going to do a little bit of this song, Kalajo, asking about it. Everybody get up!
Mesdames et messieurs, j'aimerais qu'on fasse encore un tonnerre d'applaudissements pour Monsieur Babamal. A round of applause for this musical icon that is Babamal. Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs, durant ces 2 jours, vos contributions ont inspiré plus d'un. La marche vers Abu Dhabi nous commande d'agir vite et collectivement si nous voulons accélérer les progrès vers l'ODD 6. Pour clôturer nos 2 jours de dialogue, d'échange et de contribution pour une conférence de très haut niveau à Abu Dhabi, je vais appeler 5 distinguées personnalités à venir nous rejoindre sur scène. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen,
Over the past 2 days, your contributions have inspired many. The road towards Abu Dhabi requires us to act quickly and collectively if we want to accelerate progress towards SDG 6. Who better than these distinguished personalities to conclude our 2 days of dialogue, exchange, and contribution to a high-level conference in Abu Dhabi? I invite to join me on stage Mr. Lee Junhua, Secretary General, Assistant, Department of Foreign Affairs, Economic and Socials of United Nations, with a round of applause. Monsieur Alvaro Lario, président d'ONU Eau et président du Fonds international de développement agricole. With a round of applause, Mr. Alvaro Lario. Madame Retno Marzoudi, envoyée spéciale du secrétaire général des Nations Unies pour l'eau. With a round of applause, Ms. Retno Marzoudi. Monsieur Abdullah Balala, ministre adjoint des Affaires étrangères chargé de l'énergie et de la durabilité des Émirats arabes unis. With a round of applause, Mr. Abdullah Balala. Et pour terminer, mesdames et messieurs, Excellences, last but not least, Monsieur Chertidiane Dieye, ministre de l'Hydraulique et de l'Assainissement, pour l'allocution de clôture. Messieurs, dames, ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellencies, the floor is now yours to conclude this 2-day work that we've been having. Starting with Mr. Lee Junhua.
Thank you so much. Good evening to all colleagues, all friends. It is a very exciting moment when we dropped to this closing ceremony. Just now we have such an amazing performance by icon musician of the host country. It is an so inspiring moment for all of us. So let me say, it is an energizing start for all of us to move from Dakar to Abu Dhabi later this year. Throughout these past 2 days, I have been very much impressed by the clear focus on your discussions, on your insights, and on your vision, on practical solutions. Those solutions very much focus for people, focusing on expanding access to safely managed drinking water, hygiene and sanitation facilities, and driving innovation to address the water scarcity. The discussion was always focused on the solutions for our planet, reducing pollution and expanding the sustainable management for freshwater resources in wetlands, rivers, glaciers, aquifers, and lakes. The means of implementation have been front and central in your discussion, in your exchange. Interactive Dialogue 6 is devoted specifically to the investments in water, covering finance as well as capacity building, technology, and innovation. However, the how featured prominently in all 60 interactive dialogue roundtables, as well as the high-level panels, stakeholder sessions, and side events. I'm pretty sure that the means of implementation will also drive the discussions at the conference in Abu Dhabi later this year. From the very beginning, this preparatory process for the conference has been deeply rooted to the commitment for the collaboration and the inclusion. Here in Dakar, we have heard the voices from young people, civil society, private sector, and academia, not just to participate, but to offer substantial insights and partnership proposals. I'm pretty sure you will be following up all those proposals in the coming months on the road to the UAE. Finally, I just want to express my profound gratitude to the co-host, Senegal and United Arab Emirates. Your leadership, vision, and commitment have shaped the landscape of water and multilateralism for the years to come. Thank you so much to the beautiful city of Dakar and the people of Dakar for your warm hospitality and making this preparatory meeting a resounding success. Look forward to seeing you all in Abu Dhabi. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your profound and important words, Mr. Lee Junwa. A round of applause for Mr. Lee Junwa, please, ladies and gentlemen, your excellencies. I will now invite the next speaker to, if ever you're more comfortable to speak here, you are welcome to come over here and give your speech. And I will invite, right now, with a round of applause, everybody, nous invitons maintenant pour son allocution de clôture, Monsieur Alvaro Lario, président d'ONU Eau et président du Fonds international de développement agricole. Sous vos applaudissements.
Well, thank you. Has been, Excellencies, distinguished colleagues, Excellencies, that's to get your attention. Excellencies, distinguished colleagues, we are at the end of the first round, I would say. There has taken a lot of preparation by the colleagues, by many of the countries. We have come together on the 6 interactive dialogues, but this is the start. We have still 10 months to agree on the outcomes, on the results, on how all of this is going to translate into action, and we very much count on all of you here present. What I have seen here across the 2 days is clearly alignment. There has been a spirit in the meeting of coming together at a time where it's not always present. So I think this has reflected, I think, the ambition and I would say the commitment from many of the countries and many of you to come together to look for dialogue and also to look for joint solutions. Across the 6 interactive dialogues, we've seen what is already happening, but also what needs to happen, and some of the focus and some of the truths of many of you who have spoken honestly of what they're expecting also to see, and what we can do more of, what we can do better, and also what we can do together. It's also great to see many of you of the water community here together gathered. As the chair of UN Water, I think the spirit of coming together comes across the entire institutions, and that's something I'm very proud to lead. At the same time, I always remind ourselves that we need to also step out of our water bubble and get to also the rest of the communities, the development, the agriculture, the health, and that's fundamental, the industry, to really bring water across all of the different sectors. The path ahead, we know that it's going to take a lot of I would say, discussions, a lot of agreements in terms of outcomes, and I very much count on you. You can also count on UN Water. Our role is quite simple, but it's essential, which is to help connect the efforts across the entire UN system, to bring the evidence to the table, like the GLASS report that was presented on behalf of WHO and UNICEF, and also to support countries to deliver on the ground, in the case of the UN, through the resident coordinator, but also through the individual agencies. So let's continue working together. Let's make sure that water and sanitation remain at the heart of the action on development, but also on human rights and on dignity. We leave Dakar with, I would say, encouragement, with energy, and there's a lot of work to do across the next month, so we hope to see you also, many of you in Abu Dhabi, and many more countries and companies and civil society joining there. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lario, for your words, your profound and important words. I now invite Ms. Retno Massoudi, envoyée spéciale du secrétaire général des Nations Unies pour l'eau. Ms. Massoudi, you're welcome now to start your speech with a round of applause. Excellencies, thank you.
Well, thank you very much. I will be very, very brief. First of all, thank you very much for Senegal and UAE for co-hosting this event. Colleagues, all the takeaways of our 2 days or 3 days meeting have been clearly said. So we know where to go, how to go. What we need is impactful action, action, and action. So let us work together, and I will be with you all in our journey toward Abu Dhabi. So colleagues, last night I wrote a poem for you all. Do you want me to read my poem for you? All right, I'll read it. Water won't wait, neither should we wait. No more debate, it's time to accelerate. From Dakar to Abu Dhabi, we share the same fate. Deliver, do not just narrate. Act now before it is too late. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Very impressed with your poem, Ms. Massoudi. A round of applause for Ms. Massoudi and her excellent poem and her great words. Merci beaucoup. On va inviter maintenant pour son discours de clôture, ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, we're now going to hear from Mr. Abdallah Balala, ministre adjoint des Affaires étrangères chargé de l'énergie et de la durabilité des Émirats arabes unis.
Excellencies, distinguished guests, delegates, colleagues, and friends. These past 2 days in Dakar has been nothing short of special. They reflect the outcomes of the process that the UAE began months ago together with our colleagues from Senegal. I first met my brother Sheikh Tidiane nearly 20 months ago at the Senegalese pavilion during the 10th World Water Forum. After almost 2 years of a close partnership and shared commitment to advancing the global water agenda, it is a privilege to be welcomed by him and his team to his beautiful country. And I very much look forward to welcoming him, his team, and all of you back to Abu Dhabi later this year. As I reflect on the meetings and discussions over the last 2 days, they have highlighted 3 important things. First, leadership. It's indeed great to have with us our co-chairs, ministers, high-level officials, the United Nations senior leadership, and leaders from across all stakeholder groups. This underscores a simple truth. This agenda will not move forward without leadership at the highest political level possible. And here, I want to encourage member states, our water advocates, to sustain this leadership. And we would be delighted to welcome you and your delegations for the UN Water Conference in UAE at the end of the year. Second, we have seen commitment. Each of you has demonstrated dedication to this process. Many traveled great distance to make this meeting a true turning point for the global water agenda, and this is very much appreciated. And third, adaptability and resilience, qualities that are absolutely essential to this wonderful journey. We are introducing several new elements in this process. And for the first time, we are no longer debating what this process should look like, but how it must deliver. This is a process of co-creation. It is an exciting opportunity, but it also requires openness and willingness to step outside of our comfort zones. The meeting here in Dakar also underscores the importance of collective action. Together, we made every effort to ensure this meeting was as inclusive as possible, to bring together governments, United Nations, international organizations, multilateral development banks, NGOs, civil society. We saw also a piece on youth, as well as indigenous people. Colleagues and friends, it is no secret that the water space remains fragmented. But this is exactly what we are working on to change. As co-hosts, we have taken deliberate steps to address this challenge. We aligned the word on the themes of the interactive dialogues and achieved consensus. We secured leadership by appointing our respected co-chairs ahead of time. And the Republic of Senegal convened us here in Dakar to align on key priorities and start crafting the roadmap ahead of us. This is a step-by-step process. Our hope is that by the time we convene in Abu Dhabi later this year, we will speak with one voice, putting implementation at the heart of every effort. As we look ahead, we want to explore several ideas that emerged across discussions, particularly how to ensure regular and sustained dialogue on water, and how to align around the shared North Star for our common objectives, both to 2030 and beyond. We intend to discuss these ideas further and engage in consultations with our co-chairs, as well as other member states and stakeholders. We must also remember that strengthening processes cannot happen without matching it with accelerated action on the ground. This includes financing, technology, innovation, and capacity building, which are the foundations of our newly themed introduced investments for water. Colleagues and friends, late last night, after a long day of discussions, we met with our co-chairs, which serves as a clear reflection of the political commitment behind this process. And I told them, as I tell you now, let's shock the system. Let us lead a conference that delivers something unprecedented and truly a game-changing. As we heard repeatedly over the past 2 days throughout the discussions, business as usual is not an option on our table. We must do things differently, and we will do it differently this time. Let the UN Water Conference be the place where we unite around action and around change. It is indeed that we are meeting our friends here, but one of our key indicators of success in Abu Dhabi will be this. When you arrive, inshallah, you should not only see familiar faces, you should see new ones. We want participation from every sector, be it food, energy, climate, health, biodiversity, and the list goes on. We need a true breakthrough in shared responsibility for water, because it's indeed a growth and opportunity multiplier. It is a win-win for everyone. Finally, as I leave here, I want to share with you that the UAE each year is guided by a national theme. For us, 2026 is the year of family in the UAE. And this is exactly the spirit that we want to guide the process of this conference. We are one family, the water family, and I want this family to grow. I thank you for the excellent discussions and engagements during this high-level preparatory meeting. And this is not a goodbye, it's simply see you soon. Thank you.
Many thanks and another round of applause for Mr. Abdullah Balala and his profound and very kind words. Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, pour terminer, last but not least, nous allons écouter à présent le discours de clôture de Monsieur le ministre de l'Hydraulique et de l'Assainissement du Sénégal. J'ai nommé Monsieur Chertidiane Sy.
Merci, Mesdames et Messieurs. Monsieur Lee Junhua, secrétaire général adjoint au département des affaires économiques et sociales des Nations Unies. Madame Redno Marsoudi, envoyée spéciale du secrétaire général de l'ONU pour l'eau. Monsieur Alvaro Lario, président du Fonds international de développement agricole et président de ONU Eau. Son Excellence, Monsieur Abdullah Balala, ministre adjoint des Affaires étrangères pour l'énergie et la durabilité des Émirats arabes unis. Mesdames et Messieurs, chers participants, I don't have the inspiration of Madame Redno Marsoudi to read a poem for you, but I have a message. Mesdames et Messieurs, il est particulièrement heureux qu'au terme de ces 2 journées d'intenses discussions, nous puissions mesurer le chemin accompli ou parcouru ici à Dakar, une ville vibrante qui, je l'espère, vous a été agréable, une ville tournée vers l'océan, à la croisée des peuples et des cultures, une ville d'idées et d'ambition. Et j'espère que tout cela a permis de nous inspirer pour déboucher à la fin de nos délibérations à des conclusions fructueuses et satisfaisantes. Ce cadre symbolique, ici à Dakar, nous a offert un environnement idéal pour de profondes réflexions, franches et résolument tournées vers l'action. Permettez-moi de le dire, Mesdames et Messieurs, avec beaucoup de conviction, c'est grâce à vous toutes et tous que nous avons eu une conférence, une réunion préparatoire fructueuse. Cette réunion a été un succès à tout point de vue et nous vous le devons, vous tous et toutes. La réunion de Dakar mérite pleinement son qualificatif de réunion de haut niveau, tant par la diversité exceptionnelle des participants, la qualité des échanges, le caractère inclusif et collaboratif, mais aussi par les orientations stratégiques et claires qui se dégagent de ce processus vers la conférence. Nous sommes persuadés qu'entre Dakar et Abu Dhabi, nous allons continuer à travailler ensemble pour faire de la conférence de Abu Dhabi un succès historique. Nous exprimons notre profonde gratitude aux autorités sénégalaises, au premier rang desquelles Son Excellence M. Bassirou Diomaye Diakhar Faye, président de la République du Sénégal, qui a honoré cette rencontre par sa présence hier en présidant la cérémonie d'ouverture. Son message fort, appelant à co-construire une nouvelle démarche collective et rappelant qu'investir dans l'eau, c'est investir dans un bien public mondial, a donné le ton et la hauteur politique nécessaire à nos travaux. Vous avez été, Mesdames et Messieurs, près de 3000 participants à répondre à l'appel des Nations Unies, du Sénégal, mais également des Émirats arabes unis, qui, avec le Sénégal, est co-host ou co-organisateur de la conférence de 2026. Votre mobilisation témoigne de l'urgence, mais aussi de l'espoir qui entoure la cause de l'eau et de l'assainissement à l'échelle mondiale. Les contributions venues de toutes les régions du monde, des gouvernements, des organisations internationales, des institutions financières, du secteur privé, du monde académique, de la société civile, des organisations de femmes, de jeunes et des peuples autochtones ont permis d'enrichir les débats et de poser les bases d'une nouvelle feuille de route crédible, ambitieuse et orientée vers des résultats concrets en vue de la réunion que nous attendons tous en décembre à Abu Dhabi. Nous adressons également nos remerciements sincères à toutes celles et ceux qui ont œuvré, souvent dans l'ombre, depuis plusieurs mois, pour assurer le succès logistique et organisationnel de cette rencontre ici à Dakar. Dakar, symbole d'un Sénégal ambitieux et encore tourné résolument vers le portage de l'agenda mondial, notamment cette ressource stratégique qu'est l'eau. À cette étape, je voudrais saisir cette occasion pour remercier bien vivement mon collègue et frère, M. Abdullah Balala, son Excellence, pour son travail avec son équipe, son esprit d'ouverture et de collaboration. Il l'a dit, ça fait à peu près une vingtaine de mois que nous nous sommes vus pour la première fois, que nous avons commencé à travailler dans ce processus, mais je peux vous témoigner que lui et son équipe, nuit et jour, n'ont ménagé aucun effort pour la réussite de cette réunion de Dakar, mais plus encore pour celle d'Abu Dhabi qui est devant nous et que nous attendons pour décembre prochain. Mesdames et messieurs, cette réunion préparatoire de haut niveau a permis de réaffirmer une vision commune et de dégager les priorités structurantes pour la conférence d'Abu Dhabi, qui se veut résolument une conférence d'action et d'implémentation, c'est-à-dire de mise en œuvre. En tant que co-organisateur, la République du Sénégal et les Émirats arabes unis appellent la communauté internationale à se rassembler autour d'une ambition partagée, faire de l'eau un levier pour la dignité humaine, pour le développement durable et pour la paix, ainsi que pour la prospérité. Guidés par des valeurs fortes qui ont pour nom ambition et inclusivité, justice et équité, optimisme et résilience, créativité et action collective, continuité, innovation, nous nous engageons à apporter un changement transformationnel et mesurable à la fin de la réunion que nous attendons, la conférence de 2026. 3 piliers stratégiques ont émergé comme fondement de l'action collective que nous allons porter pour Abu Dhabi. Premièrement, l'élaboration progressive d'un cadre cohérent et intégré pour l'eau, dont les 6 dialogues interactifs pourraient contribuer à bâtir un pont entre les engagements politiques et la mise en œuvre concrète. Deuxièmement, la fréquence des conférences onusiennes sur l'eau, afin d'ancrer durablement l'eau au cœur de l'agenda international au-delà de 2030, mais également de renforcer la cohérence dans tous les processus multilatéraux. Enfin, nous œuvrerons ensemble au renforcement de la coordination, des partenariats, des mécanismes de coopération, afin de mobiliser pleinement les 5 accélérateurs mondiaux de l'ODD, notamment les financements, les données, le renforcement des capacités, la science et l'innovation, ainsi que la gouvernance, tout en garantissant l'inclusion effective des femmes, des jeunes et de toutes les parties prenantes. Mesdames et messieurs, la réunion de Dakar marque une étape décisive dans le processus préparatoire de la conférence des Nations Unies de 2026. Elle ouvre une fenêtre stratégique d'opportunité qui devra maintenant s'étendre au-delà de 2030. Nous avons besoin de vos partenariats, de vos idées, de votre engagement politique et technique pour bâtir une conférence à la hauteur de la crise mondiale de l'eau. Une conférence qui restera dans les mémoires, non pas par la longueur des discours que nous y entendrons ou la beauté de ces discours, mais pour les millions de vies qu'elle aura permis d'améliorer, les millions d'emplois qui seront créés, les écosystèmes qui seront restaurés, les conventions et cadres de coopération sur l'eau qui seront signés et appliqués, ainsi que les processus multilatéraux qui seront conclus, et n'oubliant pas les financements qui devront, je l'espère, se chiffrer à des milliards de dollars qui seront orientés dans le secteur de l'eau. Mesdames et messieurs, as we leave Dakar, let us take with us the spirit of solidarity and unity and action that has animated these 2 days. Together, let us chart the course toward the United Nations Water Conference 2026 that will bring impact, innovation, and sustainable transformation, serving people, the planet, and the prosperity. It is in this note of hope and optimism that I declare the high-level preparatory meeting for the 2026 United Nations Conference officially closed. C'est sur ces mots d'espoir et d'optimisme que je voudrais, au nom du président de la République et du gouvernement du Sénégal et de nos co-organisateurs, clôturer la réunion préparatoire de haut niveau que nous tenons ici à Dakar, en vous remerciant et en vous souhaitant un très bon retour dans vos pays et vos foyers respectifs. Merci. Et jërëjëf.
On remercie, on applaudit très fort son Excellence Dr Cheikh Tidiane Dièye, ministre de l'Hydraulique et de l'Assainissement du Sénégal. Many thanks to all our amazing speakers today, our distinguished speakers. Many thanks to you guys. Je vous informe qu'un cocktail de fin vous attend juste dehors de cette salle. You guys are welcome to a cocktail to close these 2 days on a hopeful and ambitious note, just like our speaker says. Thank you very much. I'm Sophia Bain. It was an honor to be your host and your co-host today and yesterday. Également, chers collègues journalistes, je vous informe que vous pouvez rester dans la salle pour le point de presse. And to everybody else, bon cocktail. I wish you a good cocktail and hope to see you soon in Abu Dhabi.
Start working with our co-chairs. This inclusivity will continue. Our co-chairs will start drawing their plans to lead up with concrete outcomes that feeds into accelerating the Sustainable Development Goal number 6, which addresses water and sanitation for all. And that will feed into the conference that will take place in the UAE, inshallah, at the end of 2026.
So, we are at the end of this meeting here in Dakar. What is the conclusion we have at?
Voilà, Monsieur le ministre, chef de Gagné, vous venez de terminer ces 2 jours de réunion préparatoire de la conférence d'Abu Dhabi qui se tiendra en décembre 2026. Alors, qu'est-ce qu'on peut retenir des 2 jours de réunion préparatoire pour vraiment dérouler la feuille de route comme vous avez déjà décrit?
Oui, merci beaucoup. Je voudrais tout d'abord me féliciter de la bonne tenue de cette réunion. Je voudrais saisir l'opportunité pour remercier les plus hautes autorités, Monsieur le Président de la République, Monsieur le Premier ministre et l'ensemble du gouvernement qui, depuis quasiment 2 ans, nous ont accompagnés dans le processus préparatoire et aussi remercier et féliciter nos frères et amis des Émirats arabes unis, co-organisateurs avec le Sénégal de cette rencontre, pour le travail d'équipe que nous avons fait depuis tout ce temps, surtout dans la phase assez sensible et complexe du choix ou de la sélection des co-présidents des 6 dialogues interactifs qui doivent structurer la réunion d'Abu Dhabi. Je dois dire que grâce au leadership de M. le ministre Abdullah Balala et à ses équipes, nous avons réussi à les choisir parmi les plus engagés au plan politique l'ensemble des 12 qui vont être les co-présidents des 6 dialogues interactifs. C'était leur première réunion ici à Dakar et ils ont commencé déjà à discuter et à structurer ces thématiques. Donc la réunion de Dakar a été un succès total puisque ce que nous en attendions, c'était d'abord une très très forte mobilisation, toute la communauté internationale dans ses composantes et dans sa grande diversité, qu'elles se réunissent pour garantir l'inclusivité et le caractère participatif de ce processus. Nous ne voulions pas que ça soit une réunion seulement entre les États ou des gouvernements, nous voulions que ça soit une réunion très représentative, non pas seulement pour les avoir autour de la table, mais pour que tous ces acteurs viennent avec des propositions, des contributions qui alimenteraient les débats. C'est ce qu'on a réussi à avoir ici à Dakar. Cette forte mobilisation qui ouvre la voie avec une vision très claire. Nous avons décidé ici ensemble que toutes les rencontres qui vont venir, qu'elles soient des Nations Unies ou qu'elles soient organisées par des États membres de la communauté internationale, nous allons utiliser ces espaces pour continuer à promouvoir la conférence de haut niveau des Nations Unies à Abu Dhabi. Mais plus encore, nous avons décidé que la rencontre d'Abu Dhabi, cette conférence, elle devrait rentrer dans l'histoire, non pas par les discours ou par le nombre de speeches ou autres qui seront faits, mais par les actions concrètes qui y seront menées pour que dans les 6 dialogues thématiques, notamment l'eau pour la population, nous voulons en sortir pour dire, voilà, ce sont des millions de personnes qui n'avaient pas d'eau, mais qui par des actions concrètes ont accès à l'eau potable. Nous voulons pouvoir dire que l'eau pour la prospérité, ce sont des millions et des millions d'emplois qui sont créés grâce à la maîtrise de l'eau. Nous voulons pouvoir dire qu'il y a des pays qui connaissaient des problèmes de changement climatique ou de désertification, mais grâce à des actions sur l'eau, nous avons réussi à le régler. Et c'est comme ça que nous allons nous y prendre pour tous les thèmes, et y compris pour les investissements, pouvoir dire que ce sont des milliards de dollars d'investissements adaptés à la ressource qui ont été drainés et mobilisés pour financer des projets majeurs dans l'ensemble des pays. Donc voilà ce sur quoi nous nous sommes entendus et nous allons continuer ce travail et en continuant à impliquer l'ensemble des acteurs avec les Émirats arabes unis. Nous allons...
Oui, c'est la dernière question, c'est important. Qu'est-ce qui a bloqué donc la tenue des ODD? Est-ce donc une mauvaise formulation? Donc où est-ce que...
Oui, la ressource eau est une ressource. C'est comme un peu les politiques publiques de manière générale. C'est un phénomène assez complexe. Et il y a une multiplicité de facteurs qui peuvent agir et qui peuvent expliquer un peu les retards. Mais ce qu'il faut voir aussi, c'est que malgré les difficultés qui existent, et dans tous les pays, on peut encore en avoir, il y a beaucoup de pas importants qui ont été posés. Et c'est sur ça que nous voulons bâtir, consolider ce qui est posé comme acte. Et ici, le Sénégal a partagé son expérience avec les grands travaux et cette ambition renouvelée que nous avons mise sur la table et qui est en train d'être poussée. Nous voulons que tous les pays aillent dans ce sens-là. Alors, le problème, dans la plupart des cas, on parle de questions de financement. malgré l'ambition, il faut des ressources pour pouvoir construire des infrastructures, mais il faut pas, c'est pas seulement de l'argent, il faut un cadre de gouvernance, il faut de bonnes politiques, mais surtout il faut un leadership politique fort. Et ici, grâce au leadership de son Excellence le Président de la République et du Premier ministre, nous avons réussi à ériger l'eau en surpriorité nationale. En Afrique, nous sommes en train de pousser pour qu'elle soit aussi une surpriorité pour les autres États, comme c'est le cas pour les Émirats arabes unis, qui sont très très loin devant en ayant réussi à régler déjà cette question, en aidant les autres pays aussi à avoir les mêmes résultats. Donc c'est comme ça que nous allons continuer, avec une grande ambition portée par un leadership politique pour pouvoir rattraper le retard, puisque effectivement il y en a, mais nous espérons que d'ici 2030, avec les actions que nous allons mener, nous allons pouvoir atteindre les ODD, au moins pour l'eau et l'assainissement, Inch'Allah. Compliqué. You will do it in Wolof?
What is
that is our national language, one of them.
I don't think I can get that. Next time. I'll ask you an Arabic question.
Okay. Maintenant ko bàyyi mu dem dafa am you can go my brother, you can go. Okay. Non dafa am waaw ñu mu gaaw rek réunion bi nga xam ne def nañ ko fii ci Dakar muy bu am solo gis ngeen ni lu jege ñetti junni ñëw nañu bokk ci ñu jóge ci réew yu bare ñu waxtaane nag li nga xam ne mooy conférence des Nations Unies sur l'eau ci wàllu ndox bi nga xam ne Sénégal dina ko def ak Émirats arabes unis at mi buy jeex muy décembre. fii nag ñu fexe woon indi fi nit ñëpp pour ñu commencer waxtaan wi nag mu am solo lool ñëpp rafetlu li nga xam ne mooy organisation bi fii ci Dakar ñu bari yéem na leen sax bi ñu ñëwee gis qualité wu organisation bi professionnalisme bi nga xam ne am na ci ak jumtuwaay yi nga xam ne liggéeyee nañ ko mais équipe yi ni ñu liggéeyee ba tey ñu def réunion boo xam ne yem na ci niñ ko bëggoon yemale am résultat yu am solo loolu yaakaar naa ñoom ñëpp rafetlu nañ ko waaye nag dañ ciy sant yàlla ndax loolu bu mënee am cim réew dafa fekk kilifa yi jàpp ci moo tax le président de la République wax na ko fii ci discours am bi muy ubbi conférence bi ndox du rek benn ressource boo xam ne dafa mel ni produit bu ñuy jaay ci ay boutique comme yeneen ndox bien public la ressource la bu àdduna bi yëpp bokk doomu aadama yee ko moom kon gouvernement bu nekk war ngaa fexe ba saw askan jot ko donc jël na ay engagement yoo xam ni dalal na xelu ñi fi nekk ba gis nañu ni Sénégal taxawaay bi mu amoon ci àddina bi dina ko yokk ñun nag lii nga xam ne bokk nañ ko ci conférence des Nations Unies bi ñu jëm Abu Dhabi dañu ni dootul nekk rek ñu daje waxtaan ba mu baax bind ci ay këyit waaye mu jeex dañu bëgg bu ñu jegg ci Abu Dhabi dootul rek ñu xayma ko ci ñaata nit dafa nekk wala luñ ca wax waaye jëf yi ñu ci jëf mooy lan dañu bëgg buñ ca yegg ñu mën a ni nangami million ci ay doomi aadama amuñu woon ndox waaye léegi def nañu ay pexe ba ñooñu jot nañu ci ndox ñu mën a ne secteuru ndox bii nga xam ni dafa mën a indi koom-koom cim réew naka lañ ko defee ba nga xam ni créé na ay emploi ci wàllu mbéy wala ci industrie wala lu mu mën a doon ñu mën a fexe ba ni amoon na nangam luñ soxla ci ay milliards mobiliser nañ ko dugal nañ ko ci secteur bi ba mu mën faa jur aussi ay njeexital yu am solo yooyu mooy résultat concret yi nga xam ni Sénégal ci loolu la taxaw loolu la bëgg yeneen réew yi aussi ànd ci ak moom te réunion bi ñu def d'accord nañ ci ñun ñëpp ni wax ji baax na waaye li ci ëpp def nañ ko léegi nañu jublu ci action yi loolu nag mooy li nga xam ne nii moo tukkee ci réunion bi mooy bu Dakar réew yi nga xam ne muy fukk ak ñaar yi war a ànd ak ñun gunge Sénégal ak Abu Dhabi ak Émirats arabes unis ñu jëm ca réunion boobu choisir nañ leen ba tàmbali nañu seen liggéey déggoo nañ ci li ñu war a déggoo lépp te incha allah dañu bëgg fii ak ñuy yegg ci Abu Dhabi muy décembre bii di ñëw incha allah fépp foo xam ne am na réunion Nations Unies Sénégal teew fa ak Émirats arabes unis ngir ñu mën a jëmmal loolu pour que gouvernement yi xam ni ndox mooy li gën a am solo non seulement ci dundu doomu aadama mais sa koom-koom boo ko bëggee yëkkati il faut nga def investissement yi war ci wàllu ndax mooy dimbali nit ñi mooy fexe ba santé am waaye sa économie ci boppam ndax mbéy bu taxawul dara du taxaw te ndox mooy indi mbéy kon loolu gouvernement yëpp d'accord nañ ci te bokk na ci li nga xam ne moo tukkee fii ci réunion bi.
ñoo ngi wax ni duñ fa egg fii ak 2030 ñoo ngi jort waaye lan lañ jàpp ni moo indi blocage bi est-ce que nu ñu tëggee téere boobu ci ODD 6 bi la wala di ngeen su lañ fa dajee di ngeen indi ay coppite ci mbir mi.
waaw ñu ngi déjà li fi ñu jëm ak balaa ñoo yegg foofu gëstu yëpp dafa jëm ci ñu gis ni li tax ba léegi jéego yi fi mu waroon yeggu fa am na ay gàllankoor yu ci nekk benn gàllankoor bi nag bi gën a yomb te ñëpp di moom la ñuy njëkk jàpp mooy dañ naan financement moo manqué naam financement am na yoo xam ni jafe-jafe la ci ay réew mais addina bi doon ni xaalis ñàkk na fi ndax am na problème bi mooy da nga naan lu tax xaalis boobu demul ci ndox wala lu tax dugaluñ ko fa nga xam ne foofu la war a dugg. Yenn yi dafay nekk xëy na problème de volonté politique, yenn yi mu mën a nekk problème technique boo xam ne réew moo xam ne amuloo capacité pour mën a indi ay financement waaye defar ay projet yoo xam ne nii dinañ ko financer, loolu yëpp mën na cee nekk. Mën na nekk problème de gouvernance waaye yàlla mu ngi ñuy suturaal ñun ci Sénégal bi ñu ko xaymaa yëpp ñëw nangu nañu ni Sénégal ci yooyu les aspects yëpp def na ci ay jéego yoo xam ne daanaka exemple la léegi ci monde bi, mooy volonté politique. am na ko loolu nag moo tax ba financement yi nga xam ne ñu ngi dugg ci secteur ndox mi ñëpp nangu nañu la te danañ ko continuer. Démb maa ngi am réunion yoo xam ne ak waa Banque mondiale ak yeneen i kuréel yuy def financement, nee nañu dañuy jël sax Sénégal def ko exemple ci àddina bi ci nu ñuy tëggee politique yi, nu ko leader yi di porter ak nu ñu koy defee ak nu ñuy tëjee ay financement yu public comme partenariat privé yi nga xam ne ñu ngi ko fiy def pour Sénégal daal di nekk royukaay ci Afrique waaye ci àddina bi aussi ci wàllu nu ñuy jëlee ndax loolu moo mën a indi koom-koom ci yeneen côté yëpp. Loolu itam loo xam ne lii bu gaawal ndax 2030 fii ak daanaka ñeenti at a ci des te il faut que ñu yokk jéego yi gën a baral liggéey bi pour ñu mën a atteindre àdduna bi ñëpp mën a jot ci ndox ak assainissement avant 2030. Au fil de